I'll have to look up some streams. What the? That was a purple light, which means that purple just happened. What was the purple that just happened? Oops. Steven IRL rated with a party of 195 viewers. 195 of y'all. We were just doing the YouTube thumbnail so we could go live on YouTube. How's everybody doing? Welcome to my shop. What are you guys doing here? There's not enough room for all of you in here. There's just no space right now. Hi, this is Twitch TV's Oh Bother. This is one of the larger raids that I've gotten in recent memory. It's been a little while since we've had more than 34 to 40 people here. We used to be a solid 75 for a little while. That's why I was able to partner. The big draw to my, I'm gonna do the face, aren't I? The big draw to my shop is this thing over here on my wall. We're doing a lot of other crazy stuff right now, and today is Friday, so, you know, ADHD is gonna win, and we're not gonna be able to do anything, you know, coherent today, but we will work on some miscellaneous stuff. I'm basically gonna be hand drilling some things so that I don't scratch my floors when I sit on this chair and make vrooming noises, which is this thing. It's a BMW seat on a future sim setup where I've got real car parts. But the big draw to my stream back in the day, and it's been a couple of years since we've had a working one, was Burn the Subs, which is my wall-mounted XY laser etching table. It's, well, okay, so it's on the wall, so it's not really a table, right? This is an automated laser etching setup, and what it's designed to do is when somebody subscribes to my channel, now it's not working right now, do not subscribe because I said the word, don't do it. Used to be that you just say subscribe and people would subscribe. Don't, unless you're re-upping your subs or whatever. But right now the board is not working, and we are going to work on it in the future. It's the holiday season. My brother gave me a car seat. We're going to work on the sim pit a little bit, but disregarding, irregardless of that, typically we would work on that board. I'm kind of updating it, making sure everything's like new and nice, and that we have, hey, well, there's a light on my desk, and when somebody says the word idea into chat, it lights up. So we work on all kinds of crazy stuff here, but the laser etching, the automated laser etching board is like the cool thing in here. When people subscribe to my channel, what it'll do is it will find a blank location on the board and burn their name up there with a blue laser. So it's this big hullabaloo. It's pretty cool. Weird that he just has a car seat there, but okay. Well, my brother, okay, so the story is, yeah, traditionally, I have reverse engineered, because I'm very good at reverse engineering stuff. Reverse engineered my way to having a Mercedes steering wheel, which I'm getting right now, and I'm gonna put it right over here. Oh. Okay, so I have this clip-on steering rig, and this is a Mercedes S-Class steering wheel from a recent generation. It's hooked up to a 2-horsepower, 3-phase motor with an encoder on the back, and I've got a 3D printed shifter, and we reverse engineered an actual M3 E46 automatic shifter in order to get the feel right. This didn't really work out because when doing like the bump shifting up and down, it would like double shift and stuff, so it didn't really work out, this shifter. Maybe I could make it work in the future, but for now it's just shelf stuff. But so I reverse engineered all these car parts, and I got them to actually work with a force feedback controller. We're gonna probably be going, we're probably going to be changing this over to Open FFB when I get this stuff together. But so, like I was saying, it's the holiday season, and my brother knows that I have all this crap, all this stupid crap, right? And so we were talking, and he was saying, man, you know, this cheap BMW that I got from a coworker, it sucks. I've had to do so much repair to it. I'm like, there's nothing more expensive than a cheap BMW. Because when these BMWs come on the market and they're cheap, that means they need their high mileage maintenance. And the high mileage maintenance is thousands of dollars that you have to then sink in your car if you get the right stuff, like an all aluminum radiator instead of the one with the plastic end caps, which is why you have to replace your radiator when it gets to the high mileage maintenance, because the plastic becomes brittle because of all the heat and cool cycles. Why did they do that? Why didn't they just give us... Anyway, you get a solid a solid aluminum radiator for way more money than you would like to spend, and then it'll work for the rest of the life of the car. But you do all the high mileage maintenances and stuff, and you replace all the rubber that's gone manky, and the car feels new again for quite a while. But that is the selling point for most owners of the BMW. They will not go through and do all that maintenance and you know, invest in the future of their car working right because there's a new shiny car on the market and they might as well buy that one, trade in the old one, or you know, sell the old one on the used car market for way too much money because the used car market's crazy. So anyway, that's what my brother fell into, and he did all the maintenances to his credit. But he did do a little bit of junkyard hopping in order to do some of those maintenance items, which is a little kind of shady. That's kind of pinching pennies, and it might blow up on him later on. But in doing so, he was in the junkyard like, hey, what do you know? Looking around at cars, and he found one of his generation that had a much more luxurious interior. And so he swapped the interiors, and he's there complaining to me about what he's going to do with the seat. Old seats and stuff. I'm like, you know, I have this sim rig. I could really use either the driver's or the passenger seat. And so I guilted him. I used my little brother guilt to guilt him into giving me not shipping down. He drove it down here with his family to visit for Thanksgiving. And so now I have a full-blown, full-ass BMW F30 seat, which has steering wheel controls, but he kept the seat computer for himself. The greedy bastard that he is, he kept that. Cheap BMW is more expensive than an expensive BMW. It's true. It's true. I literally had that shifter in the car. Fond memories. For a little while, at least like maybe 5-10 years ago, the way to get a manual M3 for much less than just buying a manual M3 was to buy an M3 and swap it over to manual because of all the parts sharing that was going on in that era. You could literally just throw the interior in a lake, or not, sorry, throw the automatic bits in a lake and go to the junkyard and get a manual M transmission, throw that in there, put the shifter on, and everything was in the right place. So that's what a friend of mine did, and then he had the automatic shifter that I showed you sitting around. And so I was looking at I was at his place getting my car washed and cleaned up because he does the whole detailing 9 yards. And I fixed his TV as payment for that. It's the old electrical engineer guy versus the end of the 2010s, the beginning of the 2010s. Everybody's TV starts breaking and it's just capacitors. It's all you have to replace. So anyway, that's what I did. And so I got my car detailed. It looked really nice. While we're doing that, while we're working on it, he goes, oh, hey, you want this? And it's just this shifter. It's just this automatic shifter for an M. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is perfect for the project. I've been working on the steering wheel project longer than Burn the Subs, even though Burn the Subs was my claim to fame. So yeah, so I just happened upon that part. I guilted my brother out of this one. I bought this one many years ago for like a couple $100. This one we fully re-engineered and rebuilt so that it feels right. And then the pedals were actually relatively cheap. You can buy these pedals online, and then we put like a load cell behind the brake. And there's actually a spring and a load cell on the brake, so that the spring makes it feel like it's like a shitty car. So there's a little bit of give to the brake pedal until it locks up and actually feels like, you know, you're pressing calipers. You know, I could use another project. You guys are rating in just at the very intro. That's why there's music in the background for the Twitch viewers. YouTube viewers will not be hearing the music. Let's check. Oh, somebody probably said hi on. Yeah, yeah, capacitors. It's the capacitor plague. AKWT6LL. I'm going to get you on the same chat as Twitch, even though that's technically a TOS violation. I just need to hit a button here. Auto find and activate. We use the Social Stream Ninja plugin, and that allows me to have combined chat in multiple different locations. I like what I'm seeing. That's what I'm going for. If, you know, everybody who clicked off, they're sick of watching. Who is it? Steven IRL. They go, man, this guy sucks. I can't believe I watched the whole stream all the way to the end. No, I'm sure Steven IRL's great, I'm sure. But they get to the very end, and then he raids some asshole. Like, who is this fat asshole? Oh, bother. Like, this guy sucks. And so they close the window. Those are not the people I'm trying to reach. Those of you who are fascinated by all the bullshit that I'm talking about right now, welcome. Welcome to my stream. I have all the front seats to myself over here. Yeah, it's true. YouTube gets like 4 viewers and they're not even concurrent. I started streaming on YouTube, and you know, there's nothing too controversial about the format of my stream. I'm just this big asshole who sits on a stool in his basement and works on various little projects that we sort of try to... We're gonna put you down like this. How about that? That's a good position for you. I'm just this big asshole that sits in front of all this furniture yelling at it all day. 5-ish hours of stream, and I work on various projects, and we try to actually engineer our way through them instead of having explosions and potential injuries and stuff. I still get injured plenty. I got a big cut on my finger. That was from my dog, actually. Willow tried to keep me from pushing her over, because that's the thing. I'll sort of like lounge down at her level, and she'll sit with me, and I'll pet her, and then I'll push her, and she doesn't really like it all that much, but she'll capitulate and roll over on her back, and I'll pet her tummy, but she does get mad at me for doing that. It's my Kaya moment, you know? Anyway, so I roll her onto her back, and sometimes she snaps at me for doing that, and it's a play snap. So she goes, "Rah, rah, rah," and I'm like, all right, this is fine. But she did it one day, and my hand was moving forward, and it just went right on a tooth, which wasn't deep. It's just the ability for the human body to heal its own dermis makes it look really dramatic for a little while. It's all the scabbing and the swelling and the redness. It's not that deep, or it was like barely shaved the surface. Try not to break in the process, yeah. Is this a car guy thing? You're able to mess with cars way too easily. All I can do is replace a button in my car, and it's not even done well. I've had a long and storied history working on shitty cars and good cars sometimes. I've got a lot of friends who are big car guys because we're here in the suburbs of the mainline Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia, and our only like brush with freedom from our overbearing parents was getting in a car, getting your license, getting a car, getting out of the house, and going and hanging out with your friends. And so our own propensity to keep our cars running and personalize them and make them something that we loved was just spurred on by the suburban sprawl and crawl. As a private school kid, we were dispersed in the area. We were not all living in one neighborhood. So as soon as we started to be able to drive, that was it. That was freedom. We needed to be able to keep these cars running, and we needed to make them fun, and we needed to, because we'd spend a little bit of time in this car, and so you want to learn how it works, and then we're also, you know, curious and handy people, and you start to learn sort of the lower and lower and lower layers of how your car functions, and then you go off to school for electrical engineering, and then you come back and you do a cheap car rally or two, and you start to learn some crazy stuff. And so that's kind of where I'm from. Welcome. So my crazy car stuff, because I'm in a living situation where I don't have room for a project car. I just don't have space for it. I don't have the funds for it, but moreover, I don't have the space. Space is like really important. I've been watching a couple of YouTube channels where they've got their own garages, and some of them have had to do some pretty incredible maintenance on their garages to get it ready so that they can actually work on their cars. I envy it. I completely envy it. I wish I could do that. And if I could do that, my old project car was a Porsche 944, and sort of the stepchild of Audi and Porsche, and it's never even been full. You know, it's not really fully revered as a proper Porsche because the engine's in the front, but it's got a transaxle. It's got really good weight balance. And people who love them, but I wanted to get one because I could turn it into a mutant. And the mutant that I would turn it into, Tesla unloaded all the what is it? The rental car companies unloaded Teslas onto the market. And so the Tesla resale, the used Teslas are like, or were very cheap for a little while. Yeah, all-wheel drive electric because you've got space where the motor was, and you've got space where the transaxle was. I've got a 3D scanner. Superfast Matt has made it patently clear that all you need to do is scan a local area, figure out your datum points, where your holes are, engineer your bracket. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You've got... All I'd have to do is learn how to weld better. I can kind of weld, which is kind of what a lot of people who say they can weld can do. I can kind of weld, but not great. I want to do that conversion to the vet. That's a vet is a lot of aluminum. That's the scary thing. A lot of aluminum. Anyway, so in lieu of actually having a car project, bada bing. And also, bada bang. We did put together a 1/24th scale RC car, and I made it into a Lancia, even though it's all-wheel drive, which is sort of very not Lancia of me. I just like the look of the car. I've got a GPS bike computer inside of it, and it is pretty fast. Without the gyro, which this is the gyro here, this main axle thing, or whatever it is, the main support to keep this thing from tacoing, even though the aluminum chassis probably will not taco. This bar I re-engineered in Fusion 360, and I 3D printed it out of PETG, which is like a pretty decently strong plastic. It's soda bottle plastic, and put all the electronics on this main thing with the gyroscope. So I can either do gyro runs or not gyro runs, and I wanted to figure out what the maximum GPS speed of this thing was. These are magnet connectors that have pins on them, so they got little pogo pins. So I'll be able to do in the future, when we do more Fusion 360 on the body, I'll be able to put LEDs behind all the lights, and then I'll print this in a slightly more clear resin. The cool part about the resin body is that it's not strong, and if I get into a big crash with it, it explodes. I love that about it. But yeah, this is sort of just, I've been working on this thing just as a giant man baby project during the pandemic. I want to get back to doing that because the 3D printer's been sitting for way too long. So anyway, I've been channeling a lot of my crazy car energy for stream content into a pseudo sim setup. See this right here? This clamps to the side of my desk. And so at desk height, this thing will always be at desk height on this system. I was able to make a force feedback steering wheel setup that actually gave me a little bit of an advantage on the My Summer Car Rally. It's actually really, really nice. It's really, really nice when just driving the Satsuma around. The mini car looks really nice. I love it. I hope I can take it to the next, the next part of the project. I might paint it yellow. I might do a yellow Lancia or purple. Anyway, I got a bunch of acrylic paints, which probably aren't the best for painting over plastic. And I need to learn the airbrush. But what I need to do is actually print this with the translucent stuff that I used on the goggles. Then I'll have to figure out how to mask the window so it looks like the right window. This is a low poly model. That's why it's got all the little angular stuff on it instead of being a smooth Lancia body. I kind of appreciate the angularness of it, and it also makes it easier for me to pull into Blender and edit. But yeah, so I want it to have like the full headlights and everything too. There's a resto mod Lancia Integral. Which one is that? I don't remember. I don't remember the names of cars very well. I know how to fix them. Anyway, the Top Gear recently did a mini review of the resto mod Lanza. It's on their YouTube channel. Did you know there's still a thing? I haven't been watching. But yeah, it's a fun little RC car project. There's no facilities for 1/24th RC cars around here. You would think there would be people doing that, but no, it's all 1/10 and it's all off-road and probably gas motors, which I'm not that interested in. I want like a carpet track that I can go to and race the stupid RC car around. I basically, the reason that I did this is we were going to modify Mario Kart Home Circuit and cheat at it really hard, but we didn't really get around to it. We didn't really do that. Put all that money into the thing too. Yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Friday. I think we're going to work on the seat, because that seat has these two pins that stick up from the rails, and those two pins are going to dig into my floor. So I'm going to put some scrap rails under those with some of these little rubber feet that I bought. And so it'll just be a little bit of drilling, a little bit of bolting, and then we can prop the seat up properly and take a look at it. I need to determine what the length of the main simulator like setup is going to be. It would be nice if everything kind of collapsed in and I could transport it into another room, but I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know what that's going to look like, you guys. I'm kind of scared of this project. I didn't want to build a full sim setup, but it turns out in order to get the feel of actually driving like a car, it doesn't really help if you're in an office chair that swivels. So having the car seat fall on my lap from space allows me to do this. Doing well, enjoying the stream, doing a little reading on the side. Yeah, all right. We might end up doing some reading too. So I'm waiting on parts. I bought the missing motor, which I'm not sure if my brother had in the back of his car. He might have had that motor in the back of his car. He hasn't gotten back to me. I emailed him when we started working on the chair, and he still hasn't gotten back to me. So either my email probably got lost. I don't think he's mad at me. He might have had the motor in the back of his car. We just forgot to get it. So I bought one for like $30. It's like $35 on eBay. Had to find the right one. So we learned that our seat is probably from an F30 BMW. Got the motor. Well, I'm going to get the motor in the mail. The motor comes with the two flex shafts that go into both rails and allow it to move laterally. I also bought two things. What did I buy? Motor. You know what? The motor was sold separately. That's what it was. It was the bracket that the motor fits into and the two shafts, and then I had to buy the motor separately. So I bought that. That's on its way. It's being FedExed over. It's the holiday season. Stuff is not shipping very well. Oh Bother is going to be kind of stressed out for having streams. That's why we have a miscellaneous today, because I can pivot and do some LED stuff if we run out of content immediately. Parts are hard to ship at this during the season. It's just that's just the over under the whole thing. But I also bought a whole seat computer, and the whole seat computer, if I power the entire seat computer, it might still work. It might actually still move things. That's my hope, because apparently these buttons right here speak a protocol called K-Bus. And K-Bus is I believe a 5 volt or maybe a 3 volt, just, it's like one wire. It's similar to the LIN protocol, local area interconnect. Local interconnect network, LIN. There we go. Okay, LIN, the LIN bus. It's very similar to LIN bus, right? Remember, we've done a lot with the LIN bus on this stream. LIN bus, you have one master. It's pulling down a line. A line is sitting at 3 volts or 5 volts. I think it's 5, and it pulls it down in order to give out timing and then an address. And then whatever that address is responds immediately. That's the end of your communications. And then you have sort of a list of priorities that you're communicating with, and you're doing very low priority stuff on the LIN bus. This is a cheap version of the CAN bus. CAN bus is much more comprehensive. It's faster. It's got way more stuff behind it. But for things like radio buttons and, you know, low priority things, steering wheel buttons that do multimedia, all that stuff is so low priority. When your CAN bus is talking like, holy shit, we're sliding laterally, or I don't have any grip on the wheels. Steering angles changed. All that stuff is much more high priority than the user pressed the radio button. So they put them on a different network, cheaper to run all the wires for than CAN bus, et cetera, et cetera. So we did a whole bunch with LIN bus, and then BMW went, I want to be different, and they made K bus. And it's the same thing. It's like the same thing, but it's also for low priority stuff. K bus is like, basically you have your super fast high priority, and then there's like a totem pole of lesser and lesser buses until you get to your device. So for some reason, instead of having a cluster of wires coming from this thing, they decided to have the whole seat computer in here. They decided to have few wires speaking K-bus go back to the controller, which is a box that sits under the seat. So the question is, when I power this all up and I plug in the seat controller and give it 12 volts, will it allow me to adjust the seat, or does it need to speak to the CAN bus in order to say, hey, I'm a device that's connected to this car? Because the seat has to keep track of where it is at all times. It has to keep track of where it is all times so that it knows where it isn't at all times. Yeah, that seems right. The reason it does this is because all of the motors have a Hall effect sensor in them. And if you've got seat memory, it has to know where it is, know where it has to go in order to get into the position that your mother programmed, which crushes you up against the steering wheel randomly when you first get into the car because it detected a key that isn't yours. But so I was wondering how it did that, because all it has is a Hall effect sensor, right? The Hall effect sensor just sends it a pulse. It doesn't send it like, I am in this position. Absolute position encoding is probably better for this, but it's much more expensive for this, right? So I guess what happens is when the seat gets to its end, it runs up against a bump stop. And so the computer is saying, turn the MOSFET on this way. I know I'm sending current to this seat, but the Hall effect sensor says I got nothing. And it goes, oh, okay, we're at the end stop. Let's recalibrate the variable. I think that's how it works. That's what Shorty told me. He was looking at some data. He's scared for his other car seats. I don't know what my brother's gonna do, if he's gonna Craigslist them or just throw them like behind his house. He's got a whole ass passenger seat and back seats. I don't know what he's gonna do with them. Could you tell us what that computer is? I thought every single thing in the car was controlled by a single computer. No. No. The technology in cars is this big, complicated, stupid totem pole. They don't just start with a car and go, we're gonna put the computer here, because you've got to run wires to everything, and the wires are typically like 18 gauge wires. And when you have 75 different buttons on something, and you've got 75 different wires carrying the signals around, that weighs a lot. And so getting the copper out of cars is something that car companies have been trying to do for a long time. For instance, if you've got everybody speaking CAN bus, but all of your seat stuff is low priority, you put a computer into the seat, and the computer in the seat can do position memory. It can be requested to do things by the main car computer. Hey, turn on the seat heating, make them feel like they pissed themselves, says the main computer to the seat computer. And then it goes, all right, cool. And it flips a MOSFET, and then you feel like you pissed yourself because you turned on seat heating. That's how cars kind of function. And it's more like, okay, we've made a car, it runs on a distributor. Oh, we've gone to spark plugs, so let's put a computer on the motor. Well, now we have an entertainment computer. We need a computer on the cluster because we're not using cables and pressures anymore to communicate this stuff. We need this computer here, we need that computer there, and they sort of stack up on each other. It's very rare. I mean, there is the diagnostic computer, which could be considered to be the central computer. When you plug into that with an OBD plug, which is antiquated at this point, by the way, they probably should just all be like Bluetooth or even wireless at this point. But you plug in that OBD socket, and you have several CAN buses on the OBD socket. Mainly, the one you want is the most universal one. But if you're doing special stuff with your car, which I am, and you want to actually get into proprietary stuff, you've got probably a proprietary special OBD pins or communications that do it over a virtual COM port, and much like programming the Arduino, but you're talking to a computer that will talk to the other computers. So I'm talking to a module that can instigate a reprogram of another module down the line. And this is what I did for my ABS system in my car. My ABS computer was located right above the exhaust manifold, which, danger to the manifold and all that stuff. The ABS computer was above the exhaust manifold, which means it needed to be designed to survive high temperatures, because there's literally explosions going through that tube. So the explosions going through the tube heat it up, make it extremely hot for normal FR4, PCB electronics. It'll start to delaminate and the fiberglass gets all weird. And so what they did is they designed it on an aluminum plate, and all of the chips were directly deposited, and gold bonding wires went between all of the different things, and then they fill it with a gel to keep the environment out. So we have this weird high temperature gel computer on a ceramic substrate on a block of aluminum that is controlling my anti-lock brakes, and it broke. Why did it break? Because it's sitting right above the fucking exhaust. What do you expect? This thing sees like these huge temperature variations. It sucks. It's such a dumb idea. Why did they do it? Well, the wires are shorter if we put it right there. It's right next to, the ABS motors and the distribution block for the brakes. And it's, the wires are shorter. So I had to deal with all that crap. And it actually turns out I had to buy like a Lithuanian ABS computer, and then again, plug into the OBS socket, open up the BMW engineering tools, tap away at my laptop, and I was able to reprogram it to work with my car, which is shocking to me. There's so much that you can do with these cars, but sounds like BMW. I guess so. I love the BS shorter wire method. It's not that much BS. I just wish they put better heat shielding between the two goobers. It's really, it's annoying because they could have moved it just a little bit and it would have been out of the way of the exhaust header, and then it wouldn't break so easily. I got rust problems with that car. I got to do rust on it. Yeah, I don't know what the calculus was on that thing. Like, there's probably like a cost benefits diagram or five. And if we use a little less copper over here, we'll make a little bit more overhead. And once the cars are out of warranty, they'll invariably like just explode. I miss horses. You put oats into one end and you shovel what comes out the other end, and it brings you to the market. You can be drunk. You can just throw yourself onto the back of the horse and it'll return home Currently dealing with a shorter wire issue. Happens to be a ground wire. Ground faults are annoying. Those are the worst. Shorter than running a wire back to the primary block ground. My old car had ground issues with the taillights because they were still like bulbs instead of LEDs. And there was like the environment, the pesky environment would always get into the taillights, and then some kind of connection would provide a little bit more resistance, enough to heat up. And so it would like melt, and you'd have to add a ground wire to it. You underestimate how much poop horse technology produces. I know horses. I know my way around horses, sorta. They're like big dogs. I'm still pretty intimidated being around a horse because it's this giant, you know, car weight of pure muscle standing on its pinky finger. It's like an index finger is what the horse leg is akin to. So it's a whole creature that stands like this and runs like this. Weird. We've been introing for a little while. I know that people aren't very familiar with the intro of the stream. A lot of you folks from Steven IRL have actually stuck around, and I thank you for it. I know there's music playing. I might be a little bit obfuscated by the music. It should be it should be at a good level. It should be quiet enough, but it's literally just, what is the stream? It's just this guy talking. No, we're going to work on stuff in a little bit. I just give it a little bit of time for people to like gather. Just because sometimes my start times vary a little bit, and you know, it just allows people to kind of arrive. Oh yeah, and if you heard that, that is something that's controlled by channel points. Chat interactive stuff is one of my fascinations in life. It's a way that you can create highbrow art, such as getting into the Twitch API with an ESP8266, logging in, sharing credentials, and then allowing people to spend channel points to make a little physical fart noise. Yeah, that's the idea light. Every time somebody has a good idea, it lights up for them so that I don't have to field all your dumb shit. My Chevy has electricity on wheel. Oh, thank you for that. 421 running some pun. McGrock. That's the kind of username, you guys. It's the kind of username that gets gift subbed to my channel, and then it ends up on the board when we get the board working. When we get the board working, all hell is going to break loose. Because the whole idea behind the board, again, is my favorite thing is the dichotomy between class and being a stupid 12-year-old, right? Love it. That's what I exist for. And I have very dry sense of humor. You guys might not detect that for me, and I won't highlight it. I will just do it. If you pick up on it, it's there. The board is designed to burn using an elaborate laser usernames onto this beautiful block of mahogany. It's a beautiful block of whatever the hell wood I bought, right? I bought a live edge for this one so that we can determine what a keep out area should be, and it'll be kind of cool. It's been too long in the making. We need to go back and make it work. But the whole point is like, oh, look at this. You know, let me swirl my wine while I tell you about this beautiful board that I've created, which commemorates permanently the subscribers to my Twitch channel. And then Blobbity Blah has gifted a sub to 420 Poop Joke Fart Man, and then the laser comes into its position and very elaborately starts spelling out a name, and you start to see it, each letter kind of take its form. I do one letter at a time, specifically so that it animates out the name being spelled in full instead of skipping around on all the details. And it's 420 Poop Smasher Fart Man is then burnt into this lovely piece of wood. It's everything to me. Right now, the Burn the Subs camera is being flipped on its to the side a little bit. There's some stuff over there on the table that you can see, the joysticks and stuff that I would like to make it into the simulator setup. But usually I will in the future keep that table empty, and then I move a camera on a tripod to film the names being burnt into them. So yeah. Anyway. You will be my entertainment today while doing some CNC programming and machining. Those were fun days. I used to have Burn the Subs on two of these lighting tripods sitting right behind me, and we would hit it with CNC instructions to kind of like move it around and proof out that it was able to move into all those locations. CNCing stuff is a lot of fun. It's a little complicated, but it's, man, good stuff. Yeah, and so if those of you who are unfamiliar with my channel, I made an LED dog collar. It's an electric dog collar that I'm hoping to get finished soon. I had to do a lot of research into low power modes on the Seed Studio Zhao, because the Seed Studio Zhao fits inside of the original LED dog collar housing, and since it's a ESP32C3, it can run WLED and do all of my LED flipping and bobbing and boobling that I want it to in my dog's collar, so that she can sparkle with pink radio static. So this fits where the old electronics went, and I've got a little bit of room for my additional electronics. What I'm trying to do is get it into a low power mode so that the tiny little battery that's connected to this thing will function inside of that enclosure. I have one button, so I've had to tie a deep sleep into the one button. I may still machine a switch into the side of this thing just so I can permanently turn off the battery, so it's not like a hazard, but think of it like 3D printing in nightmare mode. Yeah, and then you watch all the YouTubers do it, and you're like, I want to be like these YouTubers. I want to be able to machine stuff with CNC. But all the YouTubers do is run everything at absolute maximum. They don't do anything carefully. They always like smash the end mill into stuff. And I know CNC is designed for that, so that you can smash your end mill into whatever you want, and it'll make your part, and it'll do it again and again and again and not waste anybody's time. But you're home machining on your own custom built CNC machine, like, dial down the settings a little bit. Just dial them down a little bit. Slow it down there, Haas. Because all the times that I see these home CNCers just like crash the end mill in, and it just goes poof, and just breaks. It's like, oh, that was $40. Oh, that was a $40 end mill. Oh, ooh. All right, so anyway, oops, not that one. Ooh, you're doing nitro car parts. Nice. Nitro RC. I never got into nitro. I've always been an electrical engineer through and through. I like my electric motors. They make a lot of torque at standstill. They're not really as powerful as the... I had a friend who was like getting Italian-made RC car, like nitro motors and stuff, and then going to an engineering school, I saw these guys on the elevator one day. I'm like, holy shit, RC car, that's pretty cool. They're like, yeah. And they had one of those whipped cream things hooked up to a servo, and the servo would just hit the lever on the whipped cream thing, and that would put nitrous into the motor. And so I go up to my apartment and I look out on the parking lot behind the building, which we were a bunch of floors up, so I had a pretty good view of the whole parking lot. And you see this RC car going down the rows of cars, and then you see like where the guys are standing, he gets it lined up, and and it just like went psycho, just for like quick little drag racing runs on the nitro. I don't know if they blew up their motor or not. I hope they did, because it's funny. But I can't believe you could nitro an RC car. I thought maybe the equations were different. Because all nitro does is it puts in a byproduct that should already be there, but since it's got more of that byproduct, it enhances your explosion's efficiency, and then it builds up heat because everything's going crazy. Yeah, nitro is the stuff that it beats the laws of physics so much, in fact, that the panels on the underside of your car start falling off for some reason. I think Fast and the Furious lost itself when they stopped just robbing trucks from DVD players, you know? I want that back. I want them to be like stealing like Blu-rays, even though Blu-ray is like not really that much of a thing anymore. I want them to be like stealing TV DVD combo TVs. We got to get those portable tube TVs out of this truck. Yeah, stealing trucks, pawning DVD players. I gotta go back to that. Dumb, I need you to steal these DVD players. All right, let's get the music out of here. I don't even know what's playing anymore. I think it just went to a random mix. Oh yeah, this is not playing what I thought it was. I don't even know what the music is anymore. Sorry. SoundCloud annoyed me by having a pop-up because they're like trying to clamp down on users that aren't logged in. And so apparently we were playing just some random stuff. I don't even know what I was playing. All right, yeah, okay, cool. Let's start soon out of here. What is that clip? I can't even. Oh, sarcastic, calm frog, chocolate rain. I move away from the mic to breathe. Chocolate rain. I had a little bit of Chocolate Rain memorized, but the one that I tried to memorize was the Finnish leak spin song. Something polka. It's like a gibberish song in Finnish. And I did a pretty good job of it, and I was able to actually like sing it when I had far more people watching. I was able to actually sing a little bit of it before I was fully ready to be able to sing the song. And the people were like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you're learning our culture and our language. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to learn your language. I'm just trying to suddenly whip something like really skillful out from nowhere that nobody knows that I'm capable of doing, and do it in a phonetic version of your language. I'm not learning Finnish. I know some of those My Summer Car freaks, Davies and Gonad, were learning Finnish, which is crazy. Oh, it's not fully gibberish, but it's not like it's like not like scatting. What is it like? Because it is actually talking. There is some content there, but it's mostly just stuff that sounds really like complex put together. I don't know how to describe it. There's a name for what that is. But I think you probably have to look up more lyrical analysis kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just it. I'm not getting them right now. This is just me remembering the phonetic stuff that I did, because what I did is I listened to it in like half speed, like a quarter speed actually, and I wrote down what I would read back as what they were saying. So in English, phonetics and pronunciation, I was writing down like hyphened words and just gibberish kind of stuff so that I could read it back while they were singing it and be able to move my mouth in such a way as to make those sounds. And I got most of the way there, but is there a lot. It is like, it all changes, and there's no, like, it's all different. So you have to memorize a significant amount of stuff. And I was able to get through most of it. But yeah, anyway. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to use the rails that are out of view for you guys. There's 2 aluminum rails, and they came with a set of laser power supplies. How long did it take you? I spent a couple nights and afternoons working on that. It wasn't like one big chunk of time, so I'm not sure, and I never followed it fully through. I could have followed it fully through. You know, phonetic memorization has gotten me through many, many years of choir practice as a teenager. Many, many years. We would learn the song kind of, and we would get the cues from the conductor, and it would all seem like it's going to shit right before we had the performance. And then on the day of the performance, the choir instructor would be at his last leg. He said, "You guys are going to get this wrong, and I can't believe you're not even trying to do this properly." And then we would rehearse it again, and we'd have it perfectly. we were like on our toes, the best learners ever. And then I learned at other schools, the people who sing in choir take the music home and work on it at home. We never did that. Hey, Madam E, what's going on? We never did that. We were a bunch of bums. So the unfortunate thing about this seat, yeah, homework. What up, Haystack? How you doing? Thing about this seat is that I need to mount something to these rails. I don't have the motor that can move it laterally, but I would like to put something so that these spikes don't dig into my floor. I don't even know if these will be a good choice for this, because the seat right now, as it is somewhat unbalanced behind, and it sort of falls backwards. So I don't know. Ugh. These are like the longest rails that I have. They're the only thing that I can really use. Sorry, that was my whole steering wheel falling over because it's kind of precarious. It's an 18-pound servo motor, so it's a little unwieldy. Chicken tendies. I just ate a bunch of dragon noodles, which is kind of weird. It was way more carbs than I would have liked them to be. Oh, I might not even have to drill these out. I could just mount these. Because I was thinking I could put these here, and we could put the little feets on them, the little feeties, and then I could put rubber pads on them, and then that would give me the ability to at least just put this chair on the floor. And then that can help me determine what the distance is going to be between for the main two big rails of this thing. It actually, I don't know, it'd be interesting if I could collapse it a little bit, and then I could store this thing in sort of a collapsed mode, where if I've got a rail here that leads to the pedals, like I've got a big rail coming off of this thing that leads to the pedals, if I can undo some fasteners and slide that into this so that we have the chair and then the steering wheel can just go into the chair like that, that'll make it much more compact and easy for me to, maybe not easy, but it'll make it more movable, and it won't eat up as much space in the shop when I'm not using it. I think that's the way that I want to go with this thing. I think the chair is going to sit on the floor, and it's going to have an extension on its main rails that is a little bit more narrow, and that'll go out to the other stuff. And then on the sides, I will have modular stuff that I can bolt in. I don't know if I'm going to have all the controls all at once. Like, I'm not going to make it like a cockpit that I get into, because at some point I'll want to have the oh, it's not visible in this camera angle. I will want to have the X65F throttle available to me on one of my hands, and then have the dual joystick thing also. Is that one in? No, it's not off camera. This is the left-hand Warthog throttle that I have. This is a very special thing. Now, obviously, nowadays I could just 3D scan and then 3D print it, but this is back before 3D scanners and printers were available. There was just some bum on the forums that I was looking at that did a full cast and model out of like good plastic, this entire left-hand Warthog thing. It's awesome. I haven't been able to use it yet because I'm going to be redoing the controls so that I have an up-down thumbstick, so that I have all 6 axes at my disposal, and analog. That's not just for flight sims, that's for space sims. Put a ball chiller on it. You know, this one isn't a Mercedes seat, so it doesn't have the ball chiller. It's not able to run air conditioning through it. Let me brighten up this camera for you guys. Properties, configure video, camera control. And then let's turn the focus out to infinity. And then we turn the exposure down a little. Whoa, okay, we'll go about there. And then the proc amp, we're gonna turn the gain. Wait, yeah, white balance is a little bit, turn that a little bit warmer. That's a little too warm. Too much red. Red kind of freaks out the camera. And then gain so it looks good, and now you guys have at least a slightly better idea of what the hell's going on over here. Okay. Is that all right? Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, so I got the chair upside down sitting right here, and this is not a Mercedes chair. The thing is, though, this is a BMW chair, so it's possible that this thing has seat heating on it. I don't know if my steering wheel, the steering wheel being a Mercedes steering wheel, that steering wheel right over there, that steering wheel might have steering wheel heating on it. I don't know what the command is for it, though. There's 2 commands, well, one command traditionally, two signals that I would love to snoop out of somebody's Mercedes-Benz, and they're both on the LIN bus that goes to the steering wheel. One of them is backlighting. I really want to be able to turn on the backlights because that thing has orange backlights that'll look really cool. Yeah. You reverse engineered the song. That is kind of exactly what I did. You're right. So anyway, let's put this thing on the floor. How am I going to do that? I guess I'm going to need 4 bolts from the seat. How does that work? Am I going to need to do threaded inserts? I could do threaded inserts. That would be kind of fun. I could do threaded inserts and then we can bolt it from above. I'll have to find some big hardware because it looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're like right out on the edges there. But I can't get to this one until we can move the seat laterally. Oh, look at that. Unless I really kind of work in there. But I won't be able to really hold it for bolting in. Is it threaded in any way? It looks like it probably fits into a whole mount system. I don't know. Look at that. Look at all the filth. I'm doing the best I can. I haven't cleaned up lately, but I did vacuum. There's at least not barges of dog hair wandering around the shop, because that's what typically happens. Oh, we've got like an M5000 hole here. The reason that it's so big is because this is a heavy chair and it will have an entire, an American strap to it. So that's like 550 pounds US, not 550 euro dollars, strapped into this chair with also, like a bag of McDonald's, getting into an accident, pulling 600 Gs, turning into physics. And you don't want the chair to follow. So you really want to bolt this thing into the frame pretty hard. So we've got these giant bolt holes. How about a captain's wheel for a sailing ship? I think you can buy those. What the? Wayne Johnson just subbed with a Monka steer. Hey, Wayne Johnson, thank you so much for subbing to the channel. I appreciate you very much. How the heck am I going to do this? So this is like a temporary setup that might actually influence what my final thing is going to be, because if I can get, if I split this into 2 parts instead of having giant rails that run all the way out to the pedals, I can avoid getting something that's 1,500 millimeters long, and so shipping will be much, much cheaper. So if it's 2 pieces that are against one another, which I think it probably should be, that could potentially allow the sliding in order to pack away the pedals, and move the wheel up to the seat. I think that's the way to go. What the? Cheesy popcorn? You're making me hungry. Although cheese on popcorn, I guess cheese on popcorn works. Cheese and corn? I don't know. Babe, you're the corn to my cheese. That's 400 Big Macs. Yeah, it's $250,000 worth of McDonald's. These are old rails that used to be used, so I don't fucking know, they hold stuff. See, I've got a bit of a problem. The rails that I want to use, the aluminum rails that I want to use, are expensive. They are expensive, and shipping has gotten expensive, and everything is expensive, and nobody's allowed to have money anymore. And so getting the big rails is kind of difficult. Now I could, tempting as it may be, it's possible where I've put the old burn the subboards with my gaming computer that we still need to work on. We need to do more hashtag AutoCAD ads. Oh, by the way, in that box is a gift from the gods. Dire Desire, a member in my chat, said, hey, your computer's looking a little slow. What kind of RAM do you use? And I sent him an exact link, and then he sent me a bunch of RAM sticks. So I don't know what my computer can hold. I don't think it's got a special amount of slots, but I can fill them now, and my gaming computer will finally have enough RAM. Not gaming computer, sorry. My streaming computer, old as it may be. Well, there's the gong. Old as it may be, my ancient streaming computer, circa 2016, I think, 17 or 18, I think, 2018, circa 2018 computer. That's like 20 years old. It'll get a little bit more RAM, and it'll be able to limp itself into the future. So Dire Desire, you are a god. Anyway, that's what's in that package. But anyway, so the boards that I have that I'm displaying behind my computer, which a little bit of foresight here, don't put something behind your giant monitors because they cover it over. This should be to my side. It's in front of me. That's a bad spot. Maybe one day I'll rearrange where everything is, and I'll have it as a side panel instead of a front panel. And that way, when we do streams, I can actually display, all this crazy crap. It'd be nice. Just a little bit of forethought, huh? Join me on the Caribbean, and you can have all the aluminum you can take with your hands. Yeah. Anyway, so these rails were meant to be burn the subs, so they are 1,500 millimeters long because that's the main width of the wall thing. And so I've got 2060 rails right here, but they're in use because I never thought I'd find a use for them. And so I made a little pop-up stand for the boards. If I hang the boards on the bookshelf behind it, but then I won't be able to mount my speakers up high like that. I like to have the monitors all the way up there because nothing gets in their way. So there's a nice unperturbed path from speaker to ear. Oh, the decisions that I have to make on a daily basis. You guys don't know how much they weigh upon the psyche. It's a full-time job making these idiotic. Anyway, so 1,500 millimeter rails are probably out, and I think having the whole thing telescope in on itself will be good for storing it, I think. And maybe we can find like a little linear strut that'll make it do it automatically. I don't know. If there is seat heating in this thing, by the way, our takeover of the seat's computer will involve hooking it up to chat so that you guys will be able to spend channel points to make me think I pissed myself. Hey, what's up, Caravan Spain? I miss these streams, always so fun. I find that completely unbelievable considering the amount of people that I've been able to get into this stream. And I think maybe that's just a marketing issue on my end. But our numbers have been tapering and that's happening all over Twitch. That's just, I don't know. For some reason, Uncle in his doominess, doomy Uncle, is always dooming about, and he says Twitch is a dead platform. I don't think that's the case. These are very dusty. Blah. But anyway, it's just the numbers have tapered. They kind of banned a bunch of robots, and so some channels suffered for that. But at some point, I think what I want to do is do some American-friendly streams, because I think there's just more people around. But we got a nice little raid at the beginning of the stream. And one or two of them are probably stuck around. These came with the laser power supplies that my buddy gave me. That's actually, the laser power supply ended up being the enclosure for the force feedback steering wheel electronics. Oh, I notice now that there's a thing in the way right there. We might have to use spacers. But I'm looking at these bolt holes and I don't know. Probably just Twitch pruning like a couple years ago. Well, the pandemic also bumped up everybody's numbers, right? Yeah, we're going to have to use some spacers that are like as thick as this bar right here on all four of these. So this thing will become... What we're trying to do right now is just a silly little thing. We're just trying to make it so that I can put this down on the floor. And I have sat on it before, but I think I scratched my floors. Yeah, I see some big scratches over there. So, all right. I don't know what the hardware situation is here. Let's take a look in the hardware bin and see if we can find some big bolts. Because I think M5 is the most that I go up to, and this is, M5 is just going to fall into that. Of course, all my hardware is being blocked by the chair being right here. Yeah. Okay. I can kind of wedge myself in. Ugh. Yeah, but I need to do something to get more viewers. I don't know how these other channels did it. Some of them ride like YouTube shorts for a bit and they get all those YouTube viewers and then they bring them into Twitch. And Twitch is a great place for retaining your viewers. It's not an easy place to get viewers. I managed to do it. I somehow managed to do it, but not a lot of people can boast that. I could use M5s because I'm not going to get into a car accident, to my knowledge, with this stuff. What's over there? I see stuff in here. Better not be another stink bug. There's like a metal like thing around here. Look at this. Focus. Focus. There's like a metal like cleat around the hole. It's like a bolster. It's just this like, see that? It just thickens the metal and it's like riveted in place. Close-up shots of soldering. People love soldering shorts. Can I do them like completely aimlessly? Because look, I'm a master of soldering, man. I can make it look great with my setup, especially with the microscope that I have. And I have seen a couple of those shorts. They've been posted on the Discord where it's like, I needed to remove this part and put this part in, and they absolutely drown it with flux. Okay, soldering shorts. I could produce 250,000 soldering shorts in like a millisecond. We could start making them now. That's really easy for me to do because it's what I do. Because we got this view. And I've also got the thermal camera view, and I've got manky nails to show off on them. I missed so many streams. What's the seat used for? SimPit. My brother had a seat from swapping interiors at a junkyard, and so now we've got an F30 BMW. F30 is the generation of BMW. You got your E46, your E39, your E30 if you're lucky. Those are the generations of different BMWs, and we were graced with the seat that we were unable to identify at first because I forgot to ask my brother where it came from, and he still hasn't gotten back to my email. I emailed him about it, and he didn't email me back, and I don't know what it is. I think he's mad at me. No, he's not mad at me. He's just busy. But anyway, he didn't get back to me about what BMW was from, so we kind of had to do a little sleuthing, and we found out that this is probably an F30 generation BMW chair, which is awesome because my sim setup used to rely on clipping to the desk and the office chair, and it has real car parts, real steering wheel, can't see it, but there's real pedals behind that, real car pedals and stuff. And so now I can have this not quite luxury, but still luxury seat. And I sat in it the other day and it was ridiculously comfortable. It's actually a really good seat. It's a little utilitarian. You know, it can take a little bit of abuse, but it's still a leather chair. These things can run like $500, right? So massive thank you to my brother for schlepping this thing down from Maryland. But we got to figure out how to put the damn thing on something. I got to figure out how to bolt to this thing. Yeah, the pedals were very weird. But putting everything onto the chair and making sort of a pseudo sim rig out of the whole thing, being able to use my joysticks and stuff again too, will be really nice. That'll be really cool. All right, so this bolt hole's iffy. I don't really have... The other bolt holes would potentially interfere with stuff because I think the screw is traveling with us as we move back and forth. I don't know how it's attached to everything else. I don't want to take it apart either. I just want to be able to bolt to it. There is a front square opening, and maybe I can get a washer that's big enough that it would go in that, and then drill this out and put just like a riv nut in there. But bolting it from above is actually kind of difficult. We can manage. Because bolting it from below is, you know, I have to hold on to a nut, so. And I want to use riv nuts. That's kind of what I'm doing. I kind of just want to use riv nuts on something because I got the whole kit of them. It's sitting right there. Let's see. It's Friday. I'm not firing on all cylinders today. So what I need is a big bolt that's going to inform me of what size I'm going to be bolting this thing down with. And it does have to be kind of big. I'm actually wondering if these will distort under the weight of me. Probably not. And I want it to bias backwards a little bit. These are a little bit longer than the rails for the seats. So I want to have them hang out the back a little bit because as it is right now, in the position that the seat's in, it wants to tilt backwards and fall backwards. Just barely. It's like only slightly balanced on itself. I don't have any of my spare automotive bolts sitting around, do I? And they would be too big for me to typically keep. Because down here is where I keep all the BS electronics kind of sized fasteners. I think the largest thing that I'd have is probably around here, and I think it's English. What are these? These are for servers? Yeah, that's server hardware. I'm not using that. We're just searching around down here. Here, come with me. Come on. You guys are all the way up there. I can't reach you. See, I'm down here in the mines looking for hardware. For seat-sized hardware. Hey, now we're talking. That's from some big motor, probably from the brake from the three-phase motor for the linear actuator. I don't need them right now. Might as well use them for a chair. How many of these do I have? Hopefully 4. I have 2. Oh, here's 3. And watch there just be some project one day that needs... I only have 3. You've got to be kidding me. The only bolts of this size that I've really had anything to do with over the past couple of years has been for the steering wheel project. It's really been for all of the motion stuff, the 3-phase motors and stuff. I don't know where that third one is then. Were they sticking out of a housing? I seem to remember a housing that had a couple of those sticking out, but I have 3 out of 4. I need that last one. That blasted one. The blasted last one. Is it in another, like another bin? It's always another bin. Oh, it is. Yeah, here it is. that was way less drama than I expected out of my screw bins. Usually the screw bins are whiny little bitches and they take forever to find the appropriate hardware. We spent a significant amount of time on this stream, too much in fact, sifting through hardware. And while it can be fun, because there's a lot of cool stuff in these bins and it's nice to show off all the weird little doodads that you've accumulated over the years, we've spent too much time historically on these sorts of things. All right, so nuts. We need something like a bolt. And it's possible that I could just have these go into the aluminum directly and thread the hole myself. Aluminum is a little bit soft for our purposes, but it might do. Ooh, gotta stand up again. I guess I'll check to see if I have a rivet nut. I've been avoiding the rivet nuts because they're right there, and I can't fit. I don't fit in there. Hold on, let's move this whole thing. Hard! A lot of the philosophy in this stream is biting off more than we can chew. Many of these projects that I like to work on are just a little bit outside of our range of capabilities. They're a little bit high of a difficulty rating. But when you do that, you grow. And you go, oh, I can actually do that. I don't need to avoid that kind of project anymore. How is there a dog hair? I vacuumed. Ugh. Can't. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who stole my... Who stole it? Where? Who stole my riv nut? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? All right, I gotta find this tool. It's somewhere around here. I think it's all the way behind me. And I don't know if I have riv nuts that are the right size. We'll see. Technically, it should be right here. Let's see it. You son of a bitch. Am I gonna get more stink bugs if I crack this window? Probably. They're all trying to get inside right now. My house is a fortress against stink bugs. There's the dog. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. Willow absolutely losing her shit at the window. Oh! Are any of you guys my rivet tool? What the hell happened to it? It was sitting over here for a little while, and then I did something with it. And when I do something with stuff, that's when it disappears. What did I do with this stupid thing? I'll find it. I'll find it. I will find it. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's with the computer project, because I was going to use the riv nuts in the computer project. We still got to work on that thing. We're moving my computer. No. You're a 1,000-watt power supply. You stay right there. We're moving my computer to the wall, because I think that's a better spot for it. And I'm trying to use the wall control panels that I have to put the computer up on the wall. And so we got to 3D print a bunch of stuff, a bunch of bracketry, which involves Fusion 360. Had the same problem that I discovered there's a hole in the vacuum cleaner's dust bag. Oh no, that's a bad thing. This is a riv nut tool. What it does is it essentially crushes a threaded nut into a hole. And so you can get a very strong interface and a very strong threaded hole because you have extra threads than your material provides. Instead of just threading the wall of this pipe, which is aluminum, and it's not that thin. This might actually take a couple threads, and a couple threads are really, really strong, but we're dealing with a bolt that's this big, And so what I want to do is I want the seat to bolt down into this and have a very strong interface, because we're going to be making a pretty big hole for a bolt this size, a metric bolt that I just randomly found. So what I'll do is I'll use a rivet nut, drill a hole, use this thing will crush it in place, and it'll be like a rivet that you can screw into. Put too much force into it, it'll of course just start spinning, but they should put enough pressure on the aluminum to give us a pretty decent hold down. Especially for something like what we're doing, which is just a seat rail that's going to be sitting on the floor with my fat ass on it, and that's it. It's not going to get into a car accident. I'm not pulling G's with this thing, which is why this seat was perfect. The non-luxury seat that doesn't have all of the side bolstering that a sport... I mean, technically this is a sport seat, so it should do a little bit of the side bolstering, but it doesn't do a lot of it. It's not like a chair that hugs you, which is what people typically do in their simulation rigs. And I mean, I guess that's just to get the feel, but I want luxury car feel in my sim rig. I hear multiple dogs barking. I guess Willow's friends are outside. She's hanging with her friend. Oh yeah, listen to all those dogs barking. Okay, let's pull some of this stuff in a little bit. I'm gonna move the chair back to where it was. Move the chair. You know, it'd probably be better if I just use a bolt, but if you have the riv nut tool and you spend all the money on it, you want to use it. That's the simplest explanation. Why is Bother doing what he's doing? Well, because, you know, there's a little bit of FOMO, and then... yeah, Willa's going psycho out there. She's been so funny lately. I've tried to take her on, like, longer walks, and she will not go on longer walks with me. She just wants to poke around in the immediate area. It got very cold, so all the smells are probably enhanced. She can probably smell, like, into time. But... I've been trying to get more athletic walks because I'm gaining weight again, which I really don't like that's happening. I am actually gaining weight again. I've been keeping track on the scale, and I have plateaued around 265, I would say, would be the plateau. So yeah, that's good. That's the size. Wow, I found it. I found it in the first try. That's rare. First try. So I guess, which direction does this go? So yeah, this will drop in, and then the tool will pull it up. And so we need to get the right die for the tool. The box is over there. Let me go get the box. This thing is M8, matey. M8. Mate. Mate. M8. Oi, mate. Governor. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. M8. They come in these cute little bins. I do kind of wish the tool could just hold on to all of its little bits and bobs. So you could just have this and then the tool. But the dies, I guess they have a whole storage system for it. I'll need to find the appropriate drill bit too. It's much larger than this one. And then we'll mark this up for the center and everything. No bombs on this stream today. Nope, no sir. The only bomb is going to be my own entertainment value. So off comes the die. I'm going to keep the die over there just for now because that's actually used in, going to be used in other things. What do we do here? This is threaded, I believe. Is there a way to hold it? No. Yeah, see, this allows you to get the threads like started, this knob on the back, and you kind of pull it back and get it started, and then you go down your appropriate length of crushing, which will probably be the whole length. And then there's that's a hold down back there. I need to like grab this thing somewhere. There's no flats on it. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, so that retracts, and then it unscrews. Ah, okay. So it's got like a sleeve that's on a spring, and that sleeve goes up and it locks this thing in position. So you don't have to wrench this thing down. So if I lower the sleeve, yeah, there we go. Then I can just get it undone with my fingers. Done. Can we get our mateys? My mates. Dump. And then we got this part. So that goes in, screws down until it doesn't. There we go. And then around it, the die. Cool. Good stuff. All right. M8 is a little bit big for the amount of material that we're going through, to be honest. But I need a big bolt head so that it captures on the thing. Is this keeping it from... Yeah, it is. Okay, there we go. This is going to be a bitch to actually get going. How come it's not pulling out? What? So that pulls in that much. How do I set that? Wait a minute. Huh. I mean, maybe you walk it in? That seems a little weird. Yeah, it only pulls it in a little bit. So I guess you have to do it multiple times. I have to pull it and then put it in a little further, then pull it and put it in a little further until it yanks the whole thing up, I guess. That's my understanding. Might be wrong about that. Huh, okay. Well, we're going to learn together. We're going to learn this together. I have this giant tool around all this sensitive computer stuff and breadboarded electronics. It's not a good scene. All right, so that said, I need to find the drill bit. So I guess I need a hole that is approximately this size, and that'll rivet it in. We'll figure out the position in a little bit, too. That'll mean getting out my scribe and a bunch of other stuff so we can mark the metal. There's no room for me in my own shop. Too small. Might have to use the step drill. I don't know if I have a metric step drill. Is that a thing? Everything's a thing. Everything's a thing. Not the right size. How about you, big boy? Big drill boy. No, they're all too small. Crazy. I guess we haven't messed with M8 in any recent times. I mean, it looks really close. Hold on. Let's see if we can use this step drill. I'm moving slowly and deliberately because I have to navigate this stuff and not knock anything over without breaking everything in the shop. It's a unique place to be. I should probably get a cardboard box to drill over too, so all the chips don't get all over the place. So, a pair of calipers are gonna save me. This mechanical stuff, I don't know how streamers do this or if they do this. 10.8 takes a lot of time. Oh, yeah, okay. So I can take this all the way to 7/8 and it's very, very close to the inch equivalent. So I think that'll make for a good riv nut hole. I mean, this is, hold on, this is 10.9 is a slip fit. And this is only just larger than that. And it actually still fits in without perturbing the calipers. So I think that's what we want then. 7/8 is, I remember 7/8 as being very close to a metric measure. Where'd the drill go? What the fuck? Oh, there it is. Okay, it's all the way over there. Hooah! Probably should test this before doing it, but I'm just going to send it anyway. Okay, so now I need a drill location. Oh, and the other question, well, the washer will do that work. But this thing can't really take a washer, come to think of it, because it's got that rivet in it around that plate. Oh, but that's why we're going to use this one instead. We're going to use the square all the way back here. And, oh, the matey will fit. It will actually fit. I could put a small washer around the M8. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's going to hold on to the back of the chair. And then the front of the chair, I guess we'll just do the same thing because there's a weird, awkward square hole at the front too. We're not going to use the crash-rated bolstered holes from up here because they're weird. The other problem is that it has to go up at an angle. Otherwise the bolt won't fit. And then we have to have a spacer in here. But that should be easy enough. I mean, it's a lot of like wobbly hardware. It's not what I'd really want if this were a car. If this were a car, I'd want to have a bolt that's just sticking up, and then I have to get a nut in there somehow. And I'd probably move the seat forward and then put the nut down on the thing and then move the seat back and put, yeah, whatever. But anyway, we've got to kind of do this in a weird way just because this is the situation we're in. I don't have a motor here. That's coming in the mail. It's getting here today or tomorrow, or probably not Sunday. It's likely that I'll see all these parts next week, but hopefully we do see a couple parts today. Okay, so, and that way we'll have content for tomorrow. Who knew it worked like that, huh? I can do this quickly with calipers. I could just do a calculation. There's all kinds of ways to find the center of an object, but I'm just going to do it with scoring calipers. So this is, it's 20.2, so 10.1. Good enough. Oh, I'm scoring over an already scored line. What I'll do is I'll score it from both sides. Try to get that as flat as possible. And it looks like the score line that was already there is in fact the right one. So then we do this on the other side. Just give it as flat of a score line as I can. Because of the triangulation of me using the edge of this thing to put the calipers against, that means that they're doing like a little tiny triangle, which means your score can be a little bit off. That's why I like doing it from both sides. But if you score two completely separate lines, it kind of defeats the purpose. But if I continue to say score, we will very quickly reach semantic satiation. Yes, you're correct. I will semantically sate every word in any language at all times. Yes. Do that to this one. This is a relatively clean side. I'm not really worried about all these little holes in this thing. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't weaken it to the point where it's going to drop me. If this thing immediately like tacos and just like bleh, it just like bends and collapses, I'm going to have self-esteem issues. All right, here we go. Now, those might not quite be in the right spots. If we get that one exactly, yeah, the bottom one needs to be extended out. So back to 10.1. Now, if I were doing like a more extensive setup, like if I had multiple monitors and all that other stuff that sim racers use, and I was making like a full MechWarrior cockpit. Oh, I messed up the score line. If I was doing like a full mech cockpit and all that stuff, I would consider putting like a box behind this that would hold all the controls stuff, which is like the force feedback controller computer with all the motor drivers and stuff. I'm still thinking about whether or not I should get like a small cabinet to put everything in. I don't know. How over the top am I going to take this already over the top thing? All right, there, that should reach. Okay. Now, roughly from the end of the tube, these are exactly the same length. They're exactly the same. They are. Okay, cool. We can measure from the ends then. So from the front edge, approximately to this weirdly shaped hole that we're going to use. It's this one all the way up here. That one has a thing on it. Why is this so asymmetrical? What is... Look at this. This fucking thing. It's like a car seat. Why is it not symmetrical? This hole has some piece of metal protruding into it. And we were... Okay. Hold on. Loosen you guys. Let's tighten the camera up. There we go. That's why you guys suddenly shook to the side. So this would be the hole that we wanted to use, but because on the ones in the rear, they have this extra like metal washer thing around them. Instead of using that one, I figure we can use the one all the way on the end, and that'll be easier because it's this big gaping opening where I can get a bolt through. But on this one, there's a half piece of metal shoved into this hole. It's on both sides, but I guess maybe we'll use this guy here on both of them as long as there's no drama. All right, let's see if a bolt will hold there. And it's not going to want to really hold. I'll have to put a washer around it for that one. But then we can use the one in the rear here. Yeah, that one also doesn't really want to. They're both going to need a washer on them. I'm going to need a washer under them and on top of them. This is going to be a washer orgy. Okay, so let's get approximate distance on this one. Lucky for us, we're dealing with hand grenades instead of horseshoes. And all these distances can be a little bit off. 40.40 millimeters, as if to make fun of me about my linear rails that I can't source. The 40-40 rails. Okay, that's one hole. Oh, and then I slipped. It's 2 holes, very roughly approximated. And then this one, instead of measuring, I am just going to score the first one and then base the second one off of the first. So let's see, I gotta stand up for this. I can't do it from all the way from one end. Yeah, okay, like that. Double check this. Yeah, that's good. And this one, oh wait, this is the rail that has the thing on it, so I'm gonna have to do it over here. We'll just do it over here. That's there. And then this one, I need something that can scratch. I don't have a thing that can scratch. Screwdriver, you'll have to do. Help me, screwdriver. Okay. Okay. I got my hole locations. I probably should use the drill press for this, but I think I'm just going to hand drill it. What's the state of the drill press? Yeah, that's not looking great. It's more storage than drill press at this moment. Although it would be a lot easier for me to use the drill press, and the holes would be a lot cleaner. Although I could just grab the trash can and move it over here and drill on top. I'm trying not to make this into a whole thing, right? I'm trying to just do this quickly. Let's see. Let me get a cardboard box to go under the thing that I'm drilling so that I can capture all the chips that I'm going to be making. Okay, let's see. Where's cardboard? Who's cardboard? Why is cardboard? Medical supplies. Dump them on the ground. Okay, so grab that box, medical supply box. Back over here. Now I've got a little cup to drill into. Yeah, a normal state for, this is essentially the default state for flat surfaces and workspaces, is anything, nature abhors an open, upward facing flat face. Do I need to go the whole 9 and actually do I probably should do the whole business, the center punch and all that, if I actually want these to line up, because I always complain that when I try to make holes like this and I free drill and freehand all this stuff, nothing ever comes out the way that it should. Nothing ever quite lines up. This always happens. Follow the score line until you hit the second score line. There's a little divot, punch. Okay. Follow the score line until you reach the second score line. You feel it click into it, and then your automatic hole punch doesn't work. Come on, back to it. There it is. This is how you're supposed to do it, right? When you have score lines on soft metal, and again, like, you know, if you're working with like stainless or even with steel, I don't like to do it. I don't like to drag my calipers ends, even though this is a Mitutoyo and you can, you know, throw this down a flight of stairs and it'll still work. Even though it's a Mitutoyo, I don't like to drag this thing on anything harder than aluminum, right? But if you can drag it on aluminum, then you've got these overlapping score lines that will allow you to more precisely locate your punched holes and hopefully keep the drill press in the right spot. Now that never happens with me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the state of my ability to drill things. When I freehand like this, it always walks all over the place. That's where the milling machine really comes into fruition. It's sort of an over-glorified drill press. And I love it for that because that allows me to be more precise. The only times I've had the holes all end up in the right spots, like consistently, is using the DRO. And that is like magic. I don't understand how that works that way, but it's just magic. You do all your calculations, you follow the numbers, you get your drill bit to be in the right spot. You still punch a hole and do all that stuff, and then I'll drill down and it'll like move a different direction or something. I've got an old non-digital no-name calipers that I use for scored items. I don't have that. I only have the expensive Mitutoyos, the $114 calipers, but they're worth their weight in myrrh. These things are amazing. Just the fact that, I mean, they're the big name in calipers and they're more expensive than an equivalent, but they've got a nice feel to them. They've always given me good numbers and all that stuff. And so that's why I'm a little bit of a fanboy of these things. I've got a larger caliper that's unbranded. It's just whatever the hell this, oh no, it's caught on a cable. It's caught on a wire. Hold on. Unlink the wire. Okay, there. This big boy here, which is a knockoff Mitutoyo, and it just like stopped working. It just doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. Is that a good price? I think that's what I paid for that one. I think. I don't think it was 140. Might have been. But for the amount that I used them, you know, with all the 3D modeling and stuff that we do here, it's totally worth it. All right, cardboard box under the drill. Try to give you guys at least somewhat of a view of what I'm doing. And move this over. These are unflattering camera angles today. And just get all the chips in there. All right, so I got to find my little punch. Oop, there it is. Nice. Here it is. Whoop, there it is. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Step. Bud, it's aluminum. Why is so much drama? Isn't dull? I'm gonna put some, oh wow, that's off. That's what I'm talking about. All the care in the world. All that careful measuring. All that careful measuring. And you guys can see it as much as I can. Why is it so far off? Why did that happen? I was careful. Oh, you're saying 114 is expensive. Calipers are a precision tool. Rectangular bar, you'll be remembered. Well, if I send it, the problem is I might not have enough material. We're gonna send it. We're gonna just send it. Is it the drill bit? Maybe I should use those pilot, the countersink bits. Looks perfectly centered to me. No, no, no. It's off by quite a lot. Stupid. It's so stupid. Here, let's use centers so that I can say I did everything. I did everything I should have. And the thing is still completely off. Also, I don't think any of my drill bits are sharp. Oh my God, dog. Well, that means I guess we're getting packages delivered. Oh my God, she just went nuts. I don't know if you guys can hear that. You guys probably can't because it's probably pretty quiet on the lapel mic that I've tuned very specifically. Okay, that's not gonna work, hold on. It's gotta go smaller. I don't know why, it probably walked that far because of the way I'm holding the drill. I'm probably holding the drill off by a little bit. I try so hard to do all the things ClickSpring does. I try. But we can't all be ClickSpring. The variant density of the material offsetting the drilling. I don't know if you know, but I'm sitting here holding a cardboard box on my lap with a hand drill. The guard dog's keeping us safe. That's what she does. We never asked her to be a guard dog, but that's her job, apparently. Careful. Nope. Maybe I should be center punching a little bit more. Okay, there. Actually looks pretty center. See if that'll carry us through the rest of these. It's good enough for ClickSpring. It's good enough for us, okay? All right, we're on that. Pretty center. You did actually hear it. Oh, cool. I got here the moment you showed the drill spot. I see, I see. I can't believe it walked so much. We should have a little bit of wiggle room given that the holes that we're going into are not really for bolt-sized objects. They're for, I don't know, car seat fastening sized objects. Okay. So now, hopefully, we've got something resembling a divot in the appropriate locations, because those look like they're good. I don't have any idea what this thing, the step drill, it's a sheet metal step drill. It's not really going to do very well, but it's the only thing that I have, at least without digging through the bin, that gets up to the size of these riv nuts that we're going to put in, M8 riv nuts. And then we've got to put feeties on the bottom of this thing, and then we'll be able to flip the chair and actually sit on it. This is all for a car seat. My brother bequeathed me a car seat for the holidays, which means I have no choice but to take all of my disparate clip onto the side of the desk style simulator stuff that's made out of real car parts and roll it into a giant sim rig using this whole chair. The light turned off. You could see it better when the light was on, but this whole ass car chair that's sitting upside down on the desk right now. All right, so back over here. You could tell I've been going kind of hard into the projects lately because my desk kind of forces me out on this end. It sort of extrudes me over towards my parts storage area. There's no room for me to actually, well, I'm getting pushed this way steadily. Why is that red? Did it bust my knuckle? Huh. I want to put WD-40 on this, but I don't know where my WD-40 is. The WD-40 has one use in this shop, and that's the only thing that it'll ever get used for. Because I'm not constantly getting water all over my tools, that would be an excuse to use WD-40. The only other thing that WD-40 is really good for is keeping aluminum from sticking to drill bits. And we've got aluminum here, and it's pretty hard aluminum, but... Oh, box. Don't just put chips on the floor. Box. It also doesn't help that this sheet metal, the step bit, only cuts in one direction, and so the hole will tend to wander because we're not on the drill press. Jeez, it took a bit. It's off by a little. I guess I can't complain. Once you punch through with these things, the rest of the holes usually go pretty easy. Oopsies. Problem with aluminum is it can catch, especially if you... The metal shards don't go out the bottom of the box in the middle. Nah, this is taped on the center. This isn't just like a random cardboard box. This is a medical shipment. No, I didn't realize that the step drill is also going to poke out of the bottom. Well, that might be good because then I can put feeties on it. Although it's not going to be a centered hole. There we go. The cool thing about the step drill, I'm stuck. The cool thing about the step drill is that it deburrs its own hole. Whew. Look at that, got nice and warm. So that is going to be home to one of these. Where'd it go? I had one out. I got to use the one that I had out because I don't have a lot of these. Oh yeah, the parking brake too. I can put that into a more luxury car mode too. I can flip this right over here and it'll be a low parking brake instead of one that sticks up. Medical grade car, is that such a, I'm sure that's a thing. How, where, there it is. Perfect. It's a little loose in there, but let's see if we can turn it into a rivet. So it's going to look like this, and it'll stick up a little bit, which is good because we already have a thing that sticks up on the seat rail itself. We'll do these one at a time so there's more variety in what I'm doing. Not typically how I do things. I probably want to do things in more of like a factory way so that I'm doing one job each time. But I think for streaming, it's a little bit better to do things in sort of individual sequences, and that way, even though we will be doing some repetitive stuff, it'll be more variety in what we're doing, and I can get better camera angles of things and stuff. So I guess what I need to do is, you're usually supposed to set a depth that you sort of pull this thing in, but this is sort of the fully down position, so I'm going to tighten it on the rivet. Oh yeah, that's spinning. Wait a minute. Try spinning, he said. That's a good trick. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Anakin. I got my ass kicked. And then there's little notches in the top of this thing so that when it starts to crush down, it won't spin anymore. Because spinning is bad, especially when you have threads that you need to get into. So there's that. And then we do this. I'm strong. I'm a big boy. Ugh. And then I think I set it down again until it stops. Yep. Let's do it again. Let's take a look at what it looks like from the side. Down a little further. Down a little further. Oh, it's nasty in there. Stop looking at my belly. There we go. So see how it like curled in on itself? I think maybe that's all I need to do. We'll do it a second time though. See if that does anything. No, I don't think I can do it twice. Okay, so that's it. That's the limit. There are some riv nuts on the floor, I should have you know. Why is it not unscrewing? What's going on? Oh, it is unscrewing. That was like a major drop. That was a huge drop. All right, 52 pickup at my place, everybody. Yeah, because I'm kind of like piling stuff up on an already full desk, Exhibit A. It wasn't exactly the most stable resting spot for all my stuff. And so first casualty, the riv nuts. All right, well, huzzah. I still have 4 holes to drill, but we got to play 52 pickup in the meantime. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so I'm going to pile them up on the lid, and then we'll get them into their assorted boxes. Probably going to be finding these things for months. We have an organizing stream. How's everybody think about that, huh? Cool, real cool. I was watching the streamer today, and he organized a bunch of hardware. It was riveting. Oh my God, they got back there. Hold on. The deepest recesses of my shop. Okay. Get out of the way, air hose. You got an entire Foley setup. It must have been a unique noise. A lot of drop stuff. Yeah, it was an entire organizer full of rivet nuts. I don't think it went very far. There's going to be a lot of dust in these. And they will all find their respective bins eventually, but I'll need to sit down with my screw sample. I've got one of those cables that they have at hardware stores. It was like 30 bucks. And it's got all the different thread sizes on it, labeled. They're those things they have at hardware stores that let you find the size of your bolt. Jeez. Well, not a ton of it went far. There wasn't a ton of hardware in there anyway. I'll have to get those later because I can't get to them. Sorry, not the best visuals right now. Maybe the best Foley, though. You get some cool stuff that you can listen to. Asmer picking up Rivnuts stream. I told you it was Miscellaneous Projects, and today's project is Asmer. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. Whew. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. Perch it. Perch it on the very edge of the desk. Don't drop it. Oh my God. Okay, that was annoying. Ooh, get back up. Ironically, hold on, was it? The rivets were not fixed in place. Yes, they were not riveted. You guys may be on the edge of your seats with all this riveting going on. Let's put this thing flat on the desk where it will not find a way to pivot and fall to its doom. As a person who worked around jet engines for decades, the sound of all that hitting the floor made me physically cringe. Be sure to account for every single one. I will find some in a month, but I don't have any jet turbines here to drop them down. Oh, there's like 4 or 5 of them over there. I didn't get them all. I'm coming back to that. Okay. I'm gonna have to sit down with like a big glass of whiskey and just start going through these. So, all right, this one goes there, that one goes there. God damn. All right, so going on that. Ah, jeez. Gotta catch them all. Yeah, I'm gonna get kicked out of the house and have to go on an adventure in order to get all those rib nuts back. All right, so I gotta make sure that I'm as straight as I can muster because the step bit is a long one. I wanted to use the long one because it's got only a couple steps and it's a little less like unwieldy than the giant one that I have. And problem is that it now needs to punch through the other side of this rail. So I gotta keep this centered-ish. Oh, that's gonna hit the side of the box. Well, if I do it like that. Okay. Not bad, but not good. I might use these little holes that I'm drilling as the holes for the feet. And I might just thread them and just use them as footholds for the rubber pads that I want to put under this. Under the chair, under the big chair. Kid named Finger? What? Okay, well now it's a little harder for me to like find, why is there a used one in here? And why is it the size that I need? Ah, Oh, what was I doing? Why did I riv nut one of the M8s? Damn, that goes in the garbage. Double check with the threads. Do not drill through your finger. Kid named Finger. Okay, that's an M8. I have to do this now because... Too much dust. I vacuumed last week. What the hell? Where's all this dust coming from? Me sitting in my chair at 3 a.m. Why am I still in the shop? All right. Yoink. Yoink. Give it a little twist. Sorry, the lighting's all weird. That's a little better. Give it a little twist. Yeah. Just remember, this is very important, that you are the only thing in the shop that can heal. You can heal. That work piece that you're doing, your boss is going to have to get it by a certain time, or the company is going to lose money. So throw your finger into the machine if it's going to turn slightly more profit, because you'll heal. Simply put, you will heal. But the thing you're building never will. Pseudo Maze, monthly monetary notification abatement. Notification abated. Notification received. Appreciation given, I guess. Who says I can heal? Most 9 out of 10 doctors. I don't know what the hell that 10th doctor's. I'm trying to swing my arms without hitting anything in here. I need to like... Got to do the manly thing, but I'm so surrounded by bullshit in this shop that I'm going to hit my microscope if I do it slightly wrong. Let's move a little bit over here. This is what I mean about the shop extruding me out of my own area. And I think that's all I get. I think if I tighten this more, it's not going to let me... Yeah, it doesn't let me get any more. You get one big wrinkle and that's it. You know, I forgot the Mario, and that used to be my favorite show. I used to love the Mario show. Hey, ever do the Mario? ... It's just so stupid. I loved it. I loved it as a kid. $10 that the rib nuts return to the floor. I'm gonna keep it looking scary, because that's what the good stuff in streaming is. Hey, you kids, watch Mario. So stupid. Problem number 2. These spikes. I forgot about the spikes. The spikes are going to keep me from getting to the bolts, at least in the back here. Yeah. Fuck. I didn't think about this. I wasn't thinking. And the thing is, the spike is all the way to the side. So I could crash an end mill into the side of this thing. Because it's supposed to go here and up there. Up there is further to the left than I wanted it to be. Let me just see with a bolt here if I can... This is, by the way, like nowhere near a permanent solution for this. I'm just doing this as like a temporary thing. Fuck. Just to hold the seat up so I don't scratch my floors. There's all kinds of like things in there that are like ripping away at my hand. Jagged bits of metal. That's a lot to tighten down. It's actually too long of a fastener. I don't have any M8s though. I don't keep kits of that stuff. So I need the larger one of these. These have ball ends, so I can at least get in on the side. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I need to get a big hex key. Hex wrench. That'll do. Ah! And then I hit the underside of my end mill and got grease all over my hand. Wonder bar! Nope, that will not. Of course. Fuck! So I gotta like do that one by hand. What fresh hell? A smarter mechanical person would probably have done this on the other end. Yeah, somewhat like a bell end. Oops, which way? Tidy, yeah. I'm just seeing if it's possible for me to put this on with the pin there, if I don't have to like alter something. Yeah, it's impossible for me to put down without that. Is the other one at least in the right spot? No. What the f... Huh? What the... What? What? I think I did the wrong... I think it's the wrong one. Well, this is a chance for me to correct this, but what the hell? Why am I off by so much? It's like I used the wrong opening. What's up, Lake Shot? How you doing? Oh my god, this is annoying. Hey, at least the rib nuts worked. They're just in the wrong spot. Exactly. Ugh. Can't you do it this way? It's like 1,000 threads because these are the wrong size. Sometimes you don't want to feed chat exactly what they want to hear. It's very clear what they want to hear, but you don't want to just give that to them. It's too much dopamine. You'll spoil them. God, shit like this is why I drink. All right, come on. Get out of there. Give it back. I could find shorter M8s, but I think these are the only M8s in my shop. So M8 is just like a ridiculously large fastener, and I just have no place for them in here, right? Because everything we work on is like electronics in nature, and this is human-sized. Human-sized. I guess those are probably M8s. If I had 4 of those, that would be great, but we've only got 2 on that thing. I can see 2 more on that actual parking brake, but I don't want to... That E-brake is reserved. I need those. I need to preserve those fasteners. And yes, I could probably use smaller bolts, but that's way down there. Okay. Give me that back. Okay, got it back. This is sitting on the stool proper. Jeez. Everything is huge and unwieldy in this project. This is just way too many threads. Yeah, anything over M5 is for cars, yeah. Okay, all right, so what did I mess up? The holes I marked were the holes that I marked, but I think I marked them, yeah, I marked it for this one instead of this one, which that one is just impossible to get to, so I'm just gonna, well, the thing is, like, I didn't account for this, that pin is still in the way. I forgot about the pin at, like, the very moment. Man-sized, yeah, exactly. The very moment that I should not have forgotten about that pin, I forgot about that pin. If I made the hole further over to the side, or if I use M5s instead of M8s, I could use smaller bolts and then fasten it to the side of that weird hole with a big washer on it. And it would be a little easier to drill, and I wouldn't have to drill through the whole rail. These are scrap, if you haven't noticed. They're just metal that I use to hold other metal. But if I do that, I guess I'd have to flip this one. Flip it, and then drill that for, like, over to the side for an M5. Where would that land us? Let's find an M5. We'll find an M5 and we'll try it, because the M8s are annoying. Alright, do I have M5? I do. They're in this other kit. Oh, that's over here. I don't have to get down in there. So these are M5s. They're much, much smaller, but I have washers for them, because that'll have to go in there, and then it's got all this all these places that it could be. And it'll hold just enough. I don't think it'll shear. Let me get my washers though. Washers. Big kit of washers down here. Somewhere. Where are they? Those are the ones that hold on to rails. Those would be fun to use. Small countersinks. Washers are somewhere in this pile that I can barely reach. Sorry you guys can't see the contortion that's going on right now. Ah, okay. As the hardware piles up further and further. All right, so can I washer up to this thing so that it doesn't fall through the hole? So if I use something like this, this will surround the hole nicely, but it's the size of the head of the bolt. The annoying part is that every time I thread a bolt in here, I'm going to have to make sure that the washers are present. Use one big one slightly smaller one, and I think that'll do it. So like that. Not recommended, but washer on a washer. And then that would bolt very painfully up through there. And that would hold on to the big weird shaped hole. That way I can have the rail offset and hopefully still get a bolt through it if I do it off to the side. Yep, that's going to be the way. Actually, it could still be centered this way, but I'd like to do it off just a little bit. Okay, so now I need to redo all of those distances and use the far ones, and then the rivets. What do I do with those? I could flip over to the other side, or I could just go alongside these, but these might be a little bit larger than the other ones. That's fine. Or I could try to drill these out with a very big drill bit. I don't really know if I have a really big drill bit to drill them out. Oh boy. I guess I got to get a big drill bit. All right, big drill bit. Big drill bit of undetermined size that is larger, only slightly, than the riv nut. That's a big boy. Let's see. Ah! That was a 2020 rail that was just standing up on its own. Perfect. Well, yeah, it's just about right. Jeez, I gotta clean up after today. Today's been a weird one. It's like a big comedy-sized drill bit. This is what you'd have for like a stage play. All right, so totally undoable, right? It's a two-way street with these rib nuts. Oh boy, this is a wrist breaker. Yeah, the motor doesn't like it. No, too sharp of a drill bit. Too big of a rib nut. This is for like woodworking instead of metalworking. Goodbye, wrists. That's not the intended effect. That did everything but the brass sleeve. The brass sleeve is all that's left. That's what I wanted to remove. We need a step drill. I need a big step drill. I have a big step drill. I have a drill press. It's right there. It's, I need to clean it up. Yeah, I can eliminate both of my wrists at once. The motor's not that strong. Come on. You go away, and then big step drill. What do I have that's like really tapered? Actually, the countersinks might do it. This might also do it, although I don't know, it's taking a few with me. It might be causing more casualties than it's worth it. Let's find out. OSHA's just shaking their heads at this. What are you talking about? I'm not an OSHA shop. I don't hire people. This is my basement. Really? Right in front of my OSHA manual. Okay. Step drill. Take one. God, that's a comedy setup right there. I know, I need to resuscitate my drill press. Just means cleaning up around it a little. That's doing nothing. That really is doing nothing. Why have you forsaken me, drill nut? This thing hates me. Okay. Just thinking. I mean, if I do flip it and I put feet on the underside, then the feet are thicker than the rivet nuts. But I would like to rid myself of this thing. So, of this giant mistake. This reminder of the cost of my own hubris. So I'm just going to hit it with a countersink until it gives up. Probably the way to do. If I let Twitch chat oversee me, then I've made mistakes in life. Oh my God. That's the noise I wanted to hear. I was making some progress. I'm eventually going to find that shoulder and the whole thing will fall away. Oh, is it spinning? That's a good trick. I'm not sure. I see it. It looks like it's spinning, but I'm not sure. So the rivet's on there permanently. Nails on a spinning chalkboard, I know. This shit ain't moving. There we go. So easy. Not sure if the rest is coming out. Whatever. Whatever, I'm not doing that 4 times. There we go, there's the rest of it. Easy to get out. So easy. Okay, so that was a bitch. What are we gonna do? Well, I can drill additional holes in the top of this one, and as long as it's spaced out for that like piece of metal that's in the way, it should be okay. Doesn't need to be precise, but there's, for some unknown friggin' reason, they put this like piece of metal on this thing, so my desire to have a bar sitting against it is thrown into chaos. We can use M5s. There'll be slightly smaller bolts, and I'm gonna have to put a lot of hardware around it. This ain't 80-20, man. This is just a aluminum extrusion square box. I can't use it on its side because it's not long enough to get by the pin. Although if I did do it on its side, it'd be lower to the ground. I'd have more contact patch. This puts it up a little bit, 1/4 of an inch. It allows space for the frame rails to go in there if they need to, and I can determine what the length is eventually going to be. But if I did it horizontally, I could drill a hole for the pin and then do the plan that we were going to do anyway with the 2 things sticking up. This one's going to be a real nightmare to get in just because I can't move the seat linearly because that motor is gone. It's probably at the front porch right now. That's probably where that motor is. And so then I'll be able to actually move it like that. But why is it always stupid? Why is everything always stupid? Let's do horizontal. Maybe that'll just be better. We can hide my mistakes by having them face inwards. So if that were here, then this is approximately there. I'm just going to scratch it. There, I've got a little rough spot right there. I need a drill bit that's approximately the size of this thing. Don't think I'll be using the step drill for that. So drill bit that's about as big as the pin. That is still larger. Jeez. Okay, maybe I will use the but if I use the step drill, it's going to punch through the other side again. I don't want to do that. I do have a lot of drill bits over here, though, so I should have something that's the size of the pin. Yeah, that is about the size of the pin. That's a big pin. Jeez. And then, let's see, the center punch should still be over here. Why are there aluminum chips on the floor over here? Chips are still getting on the floor. My box is not as scientific as I thought it was. It's a big pin. Damn. So, assuming that I can get that where my rough spot is. Yeah, it's got to be right there. Without, I don't want it to punch through the sidewall. So it's got to be... All right, that should do it. So let's punch a hole. Or rather, punch at the beginnings of a hole. About there. Oh, you guys can't see. Sorry. Yeah, I would love a set of drill bits like that and maybe something to hold them. I'm just going to do this several times so that I've got a nice deep impression there. I mean, what you're really supposed to do is drill and then ream. This is going to be really clunky, this drill bit, even though it's going through soft aluminum. When it breaks through, it's going to be kind of a chunkus. So actually, do I want to start a pilot hole? I don't think that really matters, to be honest. We just manhandle this thing. Manhandle its bajangles. Let's start with a slightly smaller Jimmy John here, and then we'll John up our John as we go. This has to punch through both surfaces, though. The step drill is going to do it much more clunkily. And then my alignment here is not going to be great. Not without the drill press. I could always clean off the drill press, but I'm, for some reason, dooming myself. Oh, cardboard box. Where's my box? There it is. I'm trying not to get chips all over the place, but it's really not working out, is it? Really just kind of not. It's all just kind of stupid. And my shots have been terrible because I've been filming stuff that's black with a lot of light on it. And the camera, for some reason, hates to adjust itself properly. Okay. I don't know how this will help me find the center. I don't think it really will. Yeah, it doesn't really help me. Unless I use it as, actually, a drill bit guide. That's not going to work. That's not going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah, the drill press would do this much more easily. Well, it looks like I already poked the other side and started something, but it's crooked. It's going to be incredibly crooked if I do it that way. I think I have to use the drill press to do this pin fitting. Yeah, I'm doomed otherwise. I can't do it otherwise. We're going to have to fit the drill press with all this crap. All right, over to the drill press, everybody. I used to have lights on the drill press. I still need to reevaluate that and get some more LED lights over here because I've got the switches to turn them on and off with the Stream Deck, but they're not in position over here. Just lift that up to give me a little... Oh, there's dust everywhere, and there's a USB cable running right through the whole thing. And the dog is barking at the delivery drivers. I wish she would cut them some slack. She's really mean to them. Even though she's the friendliest dog in the world. She loves people. Loves them. Loves saying hi to people. Very sweet dog. But when you approach that door, you are the enemy. This is all planning a gear reduction 3-phase motor CNC that I have not built yet. Got a lot of linear rails for it, but they're going towards the simulator now. Got all these parts and they're all sort of ready to go. I need to figure out what the rest of the thing's going to look like, what type of locomotion it's going to use. I don't know if it's going to be belts, but I have all the hardware to use belts. Kind of a problem is that I've got a lot of hardware for that kind of thing because Burn the Subs has gone through a couple revisions. What? Trying to scare them away because I have too many things. Perhaps I've misjudged you, dog. I don't know what I was doing with this last. It's all dusty. Eesh. Get the brush over here and just start brushing everything off. Okay. Yeah, the only way that I'm going to drill straight down through is with the drill press. That'll help me keep everything in alignment. The heck is this thing? This looks like a tap. That's like a crazy tap. I don't use that kind of thing. Drill bit goes over here. Fadanon made me get this. It's a little bomb-shaped blower. Don't know how useful it's going to be on the mill. Yeah, a little dusting, you know. Oh yeah, you guys are over there. Okay, so let's get this out of here. Oh, wait, this is the drill chuck. That's perfect. So the Z-axis has to go up into space. Let's hide this over here. Problem with this is it's a manual mill. So I have to sit here and do this until I die to get this thing tall enough to hold a drill bit. I don't have a counterweight on this thing. I could probably use that 600 millimeter linear axis that I have to move it up and down, but linear axis is a bit clunky. I'd rather just do it on like belts and motors. And it'd be nice if I could put those gear reduction motors into this, but yeah. Open your jaw, open your jaw, open your jaw, open your jaw, open the jaw, open the jaw, open the jaw. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Okay, there we go. So, where are we drilling? We got this hole that I've already made. I gotta stop stepping there. I think I just ruined my floor plate. Okay. The pedals are right, like I'm straddling the pedals in order to stand here. Make sure that's down on the vise. I haven't totally measured the vise, but I'm pretty sure that it's flat the last time I checked. So it's good enough for us. And we can just throw the big drill bit on this as long as I'm gentle. Actually, I probably could throw the other bar down, to be honest. And that'll give us the same location on both bars. Although one of them is always going to be a little bit less clamped than the other. I think I can get away with it, perhaps. If I just throw this thing right on below it, rather. We can just drill through all of them at once. Hold on. Technically, yeah, because I could just flip it over. It doesn't matter if we're in exactly the right spot. Yeah. Just both of those like that. Move it in here so it's stable. Make sure it's flat. Put pressure on it. These won't clamp evenly because there will be microscopic differences between the two. But if I get it right enough, that'll be good for us. we're not building medical equipment here, right? Don't worry about all this crap. Things are not organized right now, okay? Where did the drill bit go? Oh, it's over there. I already have it. It's right here. I can't believe I stepped on my pedal floor. I was going to use that on the simulator. Oh, well. We'll have to make another one out of more sturdy material. All right, and then let loose the lever. Yeah, blink. That's a little control up here that I have to loosen. Only reason I have this thing, this specific mill drill, is that the Reddit Millionaire Makers contest won me the money for this. So I said, hey, Reddit, they randomly chose my comment for everybody to make donations to. And I was like, hey, if everybody made a donation, we could make somebody a millionaire. And I won that contest one of the years, one of the times they had it. All you had to do was leave a comment. So I got a message at 4 o'clock in the morning saying that I needed to make a bunch of alt accounts, or not a bunch of alt accounts, but I need to make an alt account for my banking so that if it was flagged, it wouldn't like kill me, and so that people couldn't trace it back to me specifically. Because I was about to get a bunch of donations from a bunch of different people. I was like, what the? So I go on Reddit and I go, hey, everybody, I'm the winner of the Millionaire Maker contest. I'm just this like normal dude who works on stuff in a shop. And, you know, some of the winners got like thousands of dollars. I got $1,500, which is about what this thing cost. So I figure instead of like paying rent with it, I would put it into something that was visceral and physical and real, you know, something that improves the shop a little bit. And this has been awesome. It's been awesome being able to do like these like light machining kind of stuff. The Bitcoin, I had almost 1 Bitcoin. I had 0.9 of a Bitcoin, which could be a year's salary for me now. This was many, many years ago. This is like 2012 or 2013. I had so much Bitcoin, but then it got hacked. And now I don't have as much Bitcoin, if any. I think I have 0.1, but I don't know how I'd get it. I'm actually kind of blown away about how much easier this is than the drill, the hand drill. This is like kind of shocking. Okay, well then, where's that countersink bit? What did I do with it? There it is. Now I can mark the other pieces on it using a scribe. Having put the thing through the pinhole. Good. Yeah, I got to get the mill running again. The DRO failed at some point. I'm unable to get x-axis numbers, so that kind of hamstrung our ability to do like machining tasks on stream, which are always fun to do because you're never doing anything right in the eyes of all the machinists. Some of them will always cringe at what you're doing. And sometimes you do things just to make them cringe because they deserve that. No, the drill can't do the mill can. The bit that I used is a drill bit. That's not going laterally. Yeah, the drill press is also a milling machine, so it's got all of the tapered rails and everything. I've never tuned it though. Is this part of the LED collar? No, right now the LED collar is underneath all the stuff that we're working on right now, and it's getting kind of, it's not a great situation for the LED collar. It's getting kind of buffeted around, you know? That's a decently tight fit. Okay. That's that. we're still going to have spacers on it because of that one piece of metal over there. Because of the one piece of metal, we're going to have a couple spacers. This makes it pretty low to the ground, but it does give me like the ability to scribe out those openings and see where they lie. But I can't really fit I might be able to fit a 2020 rail once I put the feet on it. And maybe that's good, being lower to the ground. This seat will lift itself to be higher up if I need it to be. But with the pedals almost on the floor, if the seat is also sitting on the floor and the pedals are only bolted to the side of a bar like this, and probably not this bar, we're just making this so that I can put the seat on the ground. But if it's able to bolt to the side of something like this, then in order to pack this thing away, I might be able to undo fasteners and slide this thing in with, you know, the steering wheel mount on it and the monitor and everything, slide it inwards and maybe make it a little bit more compact for storage. Just an idea. I mean, this thing will also move laterally on its own, but that's for other purposes. Now, pin tool that I'll be able to actually see the marks of. I've got a bunch of clay working tools. Maybe a dental hook. You can scrape plaque off of your teeth, but you can also mark things that you want to measure. I'm a little scared about the LED collar. I don't know what happened with that. It's like the thing went batshit insane. It just went bonkers on me. Oops, we're going for here. Pretty good. I can kind of see a little box. Now let's do the front one too. And then we'll drill through one to the other. We'll flip this one and just drill through every one. We'll just drill through the whole thing every time, because these are moderately symmetrical. There we go. That's my window for the front one. I'm not trying to do this incredibly precision correct. So if we're drilling through the whole thing, this should be flipped over. And I'll have to do a couple holes for the feet too. Okay, so this goes here. Yeah. I guess kind of in the middle. I don't want to like squish them and distort them, but we're dealing with near enough as makes no difference, right? So M5 over here. We need to find the riv nuts for it so that we know the width of the riv nut that's going to correspond to the M5, which would be a very quick and easy thing to do had I not spilled all of my riv nuts all over literally fucking everywhere. And now it's just a big grab bag of miscellaneous riv nuts. I might have a bag of specifically M5s though for the computer project. Nope. What is an M5 gonna look like? Not that. This is frustrating. Once I find one, I'll at least have the template for the rest of them. Go over here. There we go. Okay, so it's a moderately sized one. It's kind of like a midway. So now we select a drill bit. I think the smaller drill bit that I had was the appropriate one, which is already on the desk. Where's my drill bit? No, I must have brought it back over. Probably put it back on the pile. No drill bits there, no drill bits there. I've got the airbag detonator sitting like right here. It's right there. Not good. Not a good place for it. Too big. Small adder. No. What's this one? I think the one that I had out was the size for the M5. That one is a little bit bigger, which I think is okay, because the rib nut will expand into it. All right, let's try that. M5's kind of odd. An uneven metric. M2.5 is the real odd one. I can never get used to M2.5. Damn it. I fell into the T-slot. Damn it. Come out. Come out of here. Okay. I actually don't need that bit anymore. Put that to the side. I wonder where that drill bit went. I had a drill bit out and it just vanished. This is going to be way up at the limit of this machine, so maybe I'll want to clamp this twice. That's probably the better idea, is to clamp it a couple times. Because I don't think I can get all the way out to there. We're dealing with, you know, hand grenades here, so we don't really need to get it exact. This isn't a millimeter precision machine job. Customer's not paying enough for that, you know? Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Cool thing about this ring light is that the shadow that it casts is an approximate center of the drill bit. M5 gonna fit through there? Hold on a sec. Well, that's the size of the rib nut. That's not the size of the M5, but if I'm going off of that little tiny space, yes, it will. Okay, as long as I get it centered properly, it will actually go through that part of the chair rail, as long as it's in a good spot, which is approximately there. And maybe over just a little bit. The lateral doesn't matter as much. The transverse? I don't know what to call it. That should be approximately in the right spot. Yeah, pretty good. I'll read chat in just a sec. I can't see you guys from all the way over here. I do need to solve that problem. We've tried a couple things, but putting you guys on like a cheapy screen would be the best thing to do. All right, now I need to reclamp. And I guess I can use the bottom holes to hold up those little feet. Might want a foot in the center though. Nope, you can't clamp it where the rib nut is. That's a problem. Yeah, see, now that one's over a little bit. It's in a kind of an awkward spot, which makes me wonder if they're going to be on the right sides. I'm a little worried about that. That falls there, but it's off from center a little bit. Is it going to be the opposite on this side? Kind of. They're both on the outer side. These are facing opposite directions with this hole aligned. So I think they will be the same part. I think this is okay. Making a couple assumptions here. Since I'm drilling through the whole thing, I think that means that they'll work out. Okay. Do a little countersinking on those so I don't cut myself. When I think about you, I cut myself. Okay. Okay, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Bad idea. There we go. No. Okay. Little countersinky. It's like a little face. Getting a little pareidolia. Pareidolia? I don't know how you say that. Parodontist. Okay. All right, so let's see if that is serviceable at all. All right, what are you guys saying? Bring you back over. Kind of squeaky? Yeah, well, it needs to be rebuilt. Not looking was thinking that sounds like a fart, but very long. Just the drill. What? Measure once, drill 4 times? Listen, these things are already Swiss cheese. There's no coming back. It's already too far gone. And then this one. That one is biasing to the left. That's not the direction that I need to go. That one looks more center than this one. Actually, that one's kind of in the center, though. So let me see if I can see through here. Just about. Ooh, I'm off by a little on this one. What about this one? I should have gone a little further out. No, that one's... I mean, considering that the rivet has to go through there, that might be okay. Let's try. What about this one? This one looks way off. There's no light coming through that. Oh. No. What the fuck? Wait, that one's off on both of them? How did that happen? Oh, because this is supposed to go here, and this is supposed to go here. Wait a sec. Might have more problems. No, that one still doesn't show any signs of light going through. Oh, because there's a rail under the rail, of course. But then what about the front one? What does that look like? The front butt. Still the same layout. Okay, so that does work. So I have to make sure that these are the right direction. Put a B in this. B, and then B. There. I got a B mark on both of them now. Measure once, cut, then you measure, then you cut again, and then you measure and cut, and you cut, and then you measure, and then your measurements were off, and then you cut again. Okay, what's next now? We put some rivets in here. So I need to find 2 M5s, and I left my little example one over here, and then we need to change the rivet gun around. Ah, it's always a thing. Like a balloon. Okay, let me get 4 of these to start. I don't know if I want to use M5 for the feet or not. That one's M5. Once you kind of get a feel for the size of the rib nut, you can find it a couple more times pretty easily. Obviously, I'll have to organize these again. Okay, one more. Nope. Too big. Too big. Too small. Too big, too small. Too big, too small. Nope. I have not looked at what's happening on stream. I might have missed some stuff. I need to make my little warning lights a little bit more comprehensive. I need to put like more in different places so that I can see what's going on. And having chat on like that old CRT screen that I have would be really awesome. Be monochrome green chat. I think that would be really cool. Because I've seen people hook Raspberry Pis up to those things. Okay, there we go. There's the 4th one. This one's probably also that size, but I'm going to put it back there. Let me just check what's going on. Check what's going on Twitch. That was Pseudomaze with a 9-month, with a 15-month, with the notification. Hype Train, and then Cheesy Popcorn, Wayne Johnson. And then we had a big raid at the beginning of the stream, which was really cool. Steven IRL, you guys should check out. I don't know what they do. I don't know anything. I know nothing. All I hear is my dog barking. So this is the top. So this is where we are putting these riv nuts. I need to get this back. We're still high-fiving each other. I have to use the right tool for the job. It's not that rare. It's not that rare that I resurrect the milling machine that's building Rust. It's building a Rust portfolio as we speak. All right, so M8 goes away because it was a ridiculous bolt, even though it's probably the right size. M8 was probably the right choice, but we're going to M5 because this is just a seat and not a, you know, a whole platform. M10? When am I going to use a riv nut for M10? That's crazy. That's crazy big. All right, M5. Decent sized bolt, not too big, not too small. M6 is probably a good size for the seat, though, in the end. I'll have to figure it out. I mean, these aren't going to be the final rails, so. Okay, there's that little collar that arrests the thing, keeps it from spinning. This thing goes on here. Then I can probably just screw the nut to it if I extend it like that. Put it down on the M5. Which one's the M5? Is it the one that goes all the way into London? They all go all the way into London, right? Eh. Well, I guess that did it. I don't know if I have a second thing to do. Okay, I did it twice. It was so nice that I did it twice. It does not feel like it's unscrewing right. Something's weird. Give it back. Uh-oh. That didn't feel right. Something feels wrong. It's possible that it went in a little funny because I did it twice. Probably should only do it once. Okay, get this thing back. Let's see. Oh, the second one, like, ruined it. Okay, never mind. We do it once. Where's the other M5? Where's the other M5? I'm gonna need to drill this one out. Oh, boy. You do it once. You do it once, and then you thank everybody for working properly, and you count your lucky stars. The second one, the rivet, the threaded part went to the side, and it keeps me from screwing a bolt in. I could, in an emergency, I could make that work, but yeah, don't do two applications of the thing. One pull is all it takes. Now I gotta sit here and find another one. Ah, that's an English thread. Oh, it feels so bad. Nope. Luckily, this one's a lot smaller, so I'll be able to just drill it out much more easily than its big brother. These are the right size. Where is the M5? Come on. Gotta be one right here. This one. I can feel it. Nope. Thought I had an eye for this. Looks kind of like the right thing, but then it's not. Like English versus metric. Way too big. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I got all these. We're getting there. We're getting there. this, and then the drill bit we were just using. Get it off of this thing. Yeah, give me this back. Goes into here. This goes into there, etc., etc., etc. Jeez. I don't even think we measured once. I don't think we're even at the beginning of that phrase. Much easier. Ouch, much hotter. Ow. Jeez. Okay, so that thing is gone. Now we got these again. I'm going to pull it once. Like a good boy. Only once. Any more than that is risking our bacon. And it should perfectly give me a threaded hole in the bar. On the right side? Yeah, we're on the right side. Doink. And we're done. No more than that. And then I unscrew it. That one might be a bit of a struggle to get in because it's got a little bit of that metal like protruding into the hole. But I think the dimensions of the rivet nut make up for it. So I think we'll be okay. I think. Could be wrong. It makes a nice, neat little threaded like bunghole though. I like it. It's a nice, neat little hole where all your scratches and nastiness from measuring are. I don't think I have metal spacers, do I? I would need 4 metal spacers that are going to be thick enough that I can actually sit this thing flat. Let's do the other rail. I have the bottom marked B for butthole. Put this back on the seat. What we're trying to do right now for anybody that, because there's like streaming works in shifts, people come and go. Right now I'm using riv nuts to put riveted holes. Thread nuts, rather. No, riv nuts to put threaded holes onto the bottom of this bar of metal that is going to go under the 2 rails of this BMW, I think, Sport chair from the F30 generation. The reason I'm doing that is so that I don't scratch up all my floors, and so I compensate for this giant pin. Giant pin's probably here for crash safety stuff. You know, if you get into a rip-roaring crash, you don't want your seat to be adjusting itself while you're being thrown into a physics problem. So you put a big pin on it, you put big fasteners on things, probably on posts or something that attach it to the unibody. And then hopefully you don't get, you know, hopefully the car doesn't fold all of your clothes with you still in them. But we're not getting into a car accident ever in this, unless it's virtual. So I need to put something under that to make just a structure that the chair will sit on so that it doesn't scratch the hell out of my floor while we try to configure this thing and get it running again and all that stuff. The chair has like computers in it and stuff that we need to like explore. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a very quick and easy, quote unquote, 5 hours, quick and easy. We've been working on it for 3 hours. Quick and easy pieces of scrap metal, probably the largest pieces of aluminum that I have in the shop, in order to make just sort of a platen for this chair to sit on and do chair things. And as usual, I'm doing it in sort of a haphazard way that is causing all kinds of drama with getting things positioned properly. But it's going pretty well. We're getting there. The thing is, like, we were going to have this big point of contact between the chair and these rails, and now I need to put big spacers in them because they're not going to quite contact properly. All right, so we move on to probably self-tapping nuts. I think maybe I want to use self-tappers on this to hold on the pads that'll go on the underside of these. Yeah, it was the wrong direction and it hurt. Okay. Self-tappers. Self-tapping sheet metal screws are awesome. They can solve a lot of problems. They can solve a lot of things that aren't problems too. But if you're doing something kind of cheesy like I'm doing right now, it's a big help just to be able to take a screw and have it punch into something. For self-tappers, I need a particular bit holder because I think they're this size. think they are this size. I think. We'll find out. We'll find out for these self-tappers. I might have to do like a hex end on the drill. And then I have these little rubber foot pads that I was going to use on the CNC machine. Turn that to there. These guys. I don't think my self-tappers are small enough. I might have to get creative with this. We're about to find out what a self-tapper is if you can be a little bit patient for me to sift around. This might be too big. Basically, it's just a sheet metal screw. With a cut in it that allows it to work as a drill bit once or twice. It just seems like they are a pretty good size for this, though. Let's see, that one's going to stick almost all the way through, but not quite. And a lot of these are missing their center washer. I got to make sure this is center washer on this. It's got a little metal washer right in the middle of it. Oh, that's perfect. Now, wait a minute. No, it's not. Not quite what I wanted. If it crushes in a little bit, but then the foot will look all weird. And this will be primed to scrape everything around. What about one of the ones that already has the metal removed, rather? These would have been nice and easy to put on, but I guess I could use rivet nuts with them. Because there's going to be a bit of weight on these, so I don't really want them to be super close to scratching my floor, you know? Yeah, we're going to need to just improvise this. I'm going to need to use countersunk screws so there's no screw heads sticking out of the thing. Won't work. Okay, so I need 3 per rail. We'll do 1 in the middle and 1 on each side. They don't need to be perfect. And we'll need to do the self-tappers again. Not the self-tapper, sorry, the, what you call it? Riv nuts. Be a smaller riv nut. That's a shame, because that would have been quick. I could have just, and then I would just punch it in there and be done. My little shop booties are going to be filled with... Why is it not going back in? Go into the... Fuck, man. I hate these things. These husky drawers are like the worst. They should fit in pretty easily, but they just, like, I'm pushing it in there and it's not going in. It's got some weird, like, retainer on the thingy. Okay, so, what are next? We are going to use smaller hardware that's countersunk. So let me get countersinks here. Got sets of countersunk screws. These, I think, are too small. Yeah, way too small. Way too small. Those are for, like, RC car stuff. X wrench kit. Nerd. I can barely get into these things because the seat's in the way. We're doing hardware, and all my hardware is blocked by this stool sitting here. My stool! M3 metric. Nope. These are still too small. I have a slightly larger set of countersunk screws that would be perfect for this. Yeah, these are the... The physicality of working on stuff like this is centered entirely around getting up and getting down again. But you gotta get up to get down. Ugh. Yeah, this will be the size. So this is like M4, which I believe is the one that I've already got out. That is indeed. Okay, so that's that. M5 goes away. Once more, diving into the rivnut arena. How's everybody's Friday going? Mine's going okay. I seem to be getting this done, what I wanted to get done. It's taking a little bit more effort than I had hoped, but everything does. It's just how it is. And I should have a bunch of chair hardware coming in so that we can do our reverse engineering thing on all of the hardware of the car seat. We'll be able to actually see some of the systems communicating with each other and hopefully reverse engineer. Where did the die part go? I've got the pulling thread. Where's the die for the M4? DYE. DIE? No. I don't know which one it is, actually. I didn't put it back into its box, so naturally it probably rattled around on the desk all over the place. I don't think it fell. I don't think it was one of the things that fell. But it's going to be pushed back over here, probably. This rubber piece I got to make sure that I keep. That there. Put this there. You guys stay over there. Dog hair everywhere. That bracket goes in the garbage. Perfect. Power armor goes up there. Somewhere floating around on this desk, you wouldn't believe it, but there would be a die for an M4 riv nut just hanging out. There it is. I had the M4 loaded in here. It's progressing. We don't know what direction it's progressing in, but it is a progression, you're right. And then M4 riv nut we need to find. Okay, I found one very quickly. And we'll get a big drill bit in here, and then I'm just going to do like one end, middle, and then the other end. Okay, so this goes back with the drill bits. You guys can't see what I'm doing, so I have to kind of annotate every single movement that I make, just so that you get the theater of the mind. Burp. You get the theater of the burp that I just let out. You get the theater of the mind for knowing what's going on, I guess. It's way too big. Okay, where did this drill bit go that I was using? Ooh. Back up there. All my drill bits are just like thrown out on this table surface because they end up being the most common ones that I use. That one's close. I guess that's going to be a tight fit. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try it. We still got my cardboard box, so I need 6 of these. Let's find 6 of these before I progress. Before I regress. But I digress. Ooh, another one. That was easy. I think this might have been a location that had a bunch of the same size. Almost like these things were stored in bins a minute ago. Weird, right? Yeah, like instantly I'm finding them. There must be a lot of M4s in this. Oh, that's not one, though. Yeah, that is indeed another one. They're just kind of in this area. It's nice. There we go. That's 6. Sweet. That was nice. Nice and easy. Okay. Drill bit. Drill. And on the side that I've marked with B, there's the B. What a mess! Proud of you. You know, messes happens. It's just kind of goes over time. We're trying to put bars under the rails. I kind of messed up. I'm not drilling these out because it's too much of a pain, but we're using rivet nuts, and I'm making these bars that basically fit onto the big pins of the rails, and then it'll have rubber pads on the bottom so I can flip the chair over and sit on it and make vroom vroom noises. I am going to have to use spacers though, because for some unknown reason, I don't know what the hell is going on in BMW engineering headquarters. They're all sitting around going, and like slapping each other on the belly or something. But there's like a bar on this under it that makes it not flat. It's like this bar of metal. I don't know, man. We love the vroom vroom noises. That's what I used to do in my 944. I still miss that car. It's been 1,000 years since I had that car. But I sat in it and I made vroom vroom noises, and that's about as deep as it went. Approximate center. I hated letting go of that car. I really wish I still had it. And this one's going to screw in for the other side, so I think I can get away with it over here. Doing that just right in the middle. This is all scrap metal. This is all scraps. And I'm just kind of winging it. So none of this has to be stupendously accurate. Where's the B? There's a B somewhere on this, and I don't mean like Buzz. The letter B was scribed into the bottom, so I know which one was which. I want to turn my 92 Volvo 240 into a sleeper with a straight pipe and swap out the engine for a turbo. Yeah. That's a lot of work, but people do it. Some people do it in like a weekend. You know, people used to rent cars and they would swap the rental car motor into their car and they would take it drag racing for the weekend. And then they would swap it back and return the rental car. People are crazy. That's one of the marks. So that one's just center on those two. I can't even believe it. I mean, car motors were, I guess, simpler back then. They were a little bit less electronic than they are now. Nowadays, you'd have to register the motor with your anti-theft system. I didn't know what a straight pipe was, and now I'm too afraid to ask. You know how your exhaust pipes are all wiggly and shit? You can figure out the rest. You're an adult. There we go. Man, doing this on hollow structure aluminum tubes really amplifies the sound of the auto punch. That hurt my ears, that last one. One. Two. Ow. A three. There's a lot of holes in this already. These are not going to be the most structural pieces in this shop. It's going to be a little bit wobbly. Should be okay. And I should be getting that seat computer today or tomorrow. If I do get the seat computer today, I'll be super happy because then we'll have content tomorrow. All right. Center hole. My brother really cursed me by bringing this awesome chair, didn't he? Is it annoyingly loud? Too loud for you guys? Hopefully there's a bit of a noise filter on the mixer here. The sound of a dentist? There should be a little bit more noise filtering. I'm on a different compressor, like audio compressor, than I normally am. We're using the Rodecaster Pro, which, by the way, there's like another Rodecaster. Every time I turn around, another one of these fucking places releases something specifically for streaming that could really benefit me. In this case, I kind of made a compromise and got the Rodecaster Pro. I have a preamp that uses vacuum tubes that I really want to put on the microphone, but I haven't had time to experiment with it. I need to clean up the shop, you know? The trolling unit's absolutely fine. It's just a low thing. All right. Well, it might be different for headphone users, you know? I can hear the squeal. Okay. That's all the holes. I drilled a hole right through him. Look at him. He's screaming. Okay. Go. When you shout, you're about twice louder. My old compressor, the digital one, I was able to get much more aggressive with the sort of loud noises. You are on headphones, okay. I was able to get more aggressive with the loud noises and make like basically a filter specifically for power tools, where if I got super loud, it would sort of top out at a certain loudness. That's actually good to have good compression on a stream, because then when you shout, it's too small. It's the drill bit's too small. Damn it! Fuck, fuck, motherfucker, fuck. Fuck, motherfucker, motherfucker, fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. Nonce. Anyway, I don't know why Jay and Silent Bob have such staying power in my lexicon, but they seem to. All of their little bits, all their cute little bits, I'm always mimicking. You know, $15, little man, put that shit in my hand, is just part of my common vernacular in my day-to-day. Not even like the original movie. It's like the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or some shit. It's not even worth. Yeah, it just doesn't. It becomes like a permanent habit. All right, am I back? I'm back. Yeah, we watched a lot of Mallrats. That was our big one. What the hell? Okay, there we go. I still haven't watched, what is not the whale, the other one. The latest weird one. All right, so I just gotta pop these holes to be a little bit larger. It's only my right earbud. Does that count? Or maybe it does. Still gone chip guard. This is getting out of hand. A clean nature abhors a clean workbench, right? These are just the laws of physics at bay, at work. Okay, a little larger. I'm not deburring these because they'll just get a riv nut on top of them. All right, careful now. Everything is balanced on something, which makes everything more precarious than I would like. Everything is like, some of these makers, oh, why is there a goose head that just fell down? All these makers have this like, this is my, 75-foot workbench. It's like, I don't have that, man. This thing is 72 inches. You like every bit of it. It still doesn't fit. Dear God. Okay, I'm gonna go get another drill bit now. Get another drill bit, one that's slightly larger. And we're gonna keep doing this for all of eternity. Just you and me. All right, slightly larger is kind of difficult. This is like a lot of miscellaneous drill bits. I used to have a big set of like a ton of drill bits, and then it got mixed with other drill bits that were similar to it. They're all that sort of like brassy color. Okay, this one's slightly larger. And I don't know how many different increments I have. I wanted to make a big magnet block for all of them and put them up on like a flat magnet block. I suddenly goose. I know. It's because what's left of the mischievous goose is still sitting on the magnet hanger. It's all that survived being dropped on the floor several times. We are going to finish this stream. I'm not going to stop until I'm done with this stupid thing. Unless I totally mess up these rails. Because I think we're really close to getting this to work. I just need to figure out what that spacer is going to be. So that we can give these a little distance. I have nylon spacers. I don't know if those will crush though. Under the immense weight of my adult body. Okay. I hope that did enough to grab all the chips we're throwing out today. But now should be able to do that, do this, and that'll create a temporary permanent threaded hole. I guess I can look to see if it, I don't know if it crushed properly, but I guess it's this, as long as it just holds in when I pick up the chair, that's all that really matters. Right, because these are there just to be a pad on the bottom and not fly off when I slide the chair around. Everything's shifting all over the place when I do any of this stuff. It's like just everything is being broken as I progress. Part of the comedy of the whole thing, you know? You know? I know. Do you know? Keep moving, keep going, keep doing. We're almost there. Almost. A lot of unscrewing to do with these things, these rib nuts. Give it back. There we go. It's easier to get them on than off, I guess. I don't know if a little bit of lip on that. No, that'll be okay. I guess in certain situations you can watch the little red bar and see how far it goes so that you can rivet it properly, because they give you like distances for it and everything, but I guess just one big pull and it's done. At least so far as I've seen. Yeah, that one's in there a little funny because of the lip, the burr on the hole. But I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sweat it. I feel chips in my hand. Ugh. Hate that feeling when you touch stuff and it's just painful. Well, you might have chips in your hand. You got hand chips. This one's crooked too. They're all going in wrong now. It's all right. One more. Locked and loaded. All right, these things are mighty useful. I'm happy that I got this kit. They're only useful if you're doing certain things, but when they are useful, they are useful. They do a good job giving you suddenly a threaded hole in a thing. There you go. Where am I putting this tool? Because I don't have any counter space available. Everything is piled up on top of itself. I did not clean up before doing stream today, and so things are a bit crazy. That's on me. All right, so I need a mid-length. I guess this is what's going to have to do. This one's too long, but the other ones are too short. 4, 6, because the riv nut sits in a little bit, and so you'll need just a little bit of extra distance to get to it. So the short ones will not reach, and then the long ones are too long. Such is life. All right, where is the size? Too big. Ah, jeez. Yeah, that'll do. Nice little foot. Little rubbly foot. This is the next size down. So that ain't gonna do it. This one's too long. Just have to use these. Trying to actually finish something today, you know? This final assembly bit is taking a little bit long. I'm trying to get to where I can walk my cute puppy. She's going to be so lonely without me. No, she's got people up there to pay attention to her. She's got people upstairs. She can deal with me working late for once. Come on. Keep moving. And then I guess having the hole all the way through for the two fasteners here, that doesn't give me any advantage. It would have if I was dropping hardware in from above. I could maybe make a little access hole around that, and then that would help me screw these things on from the underside. I have a feeling the seat itself, when it's installed in the car, probably relies on you to move the seat forwards and backwards to get to those holes. All right, that's one. This one goes where? I think that goes, yeah, it goes here. It's looking pretty snazzy. We've got to figure out what those spacers are going to be too. I'll figure that out in just a minute. Let's get these other three situated. I don't know if this is going to be like the final sim chair, and I don't know if the pedals are going to fit in between these two rails because I have them horizontally. If I had them vertically, the cut for the pin would have to be like in the side of this thing, so that doesn't really work all that well. I'll have to figure out what the final configuration is going to be. It's probably going to be 80/20 rail of some type, or 20/20 rail of some type. I just have to figure out what's better, if paying JLPCB the exorbitant shipping costs, but pennies on the dollar for the rails themselves, or if I have to go through a domestic place which charges about $50 a rail at 1500 millimeters. If I don't need 1500 millimeters, that's good. That means that I could use a different size rail. Maybe I could get away with, you know, like a 1,000 and a couple 500s, and maybe that would knock down the shipping a lot. I'm not sure. Or alternatively, the third option is to pony up about $400 and buy an entire racing rig, an entire sim racing rig. Those are about $400 for just the rails. A lot of them come with seats, and I wouldn't need the seat to come with it, obviously. So I don't know what I'd do there either. And hopefully, if the right parts came in the mail, we will be able to work with a computer tomorrow. All right, so washers I don't think are going to be good spacers, but I am going to need 4 of these bolts. So are we, what are we, M5 on this one? Yeah. So 4 of these, and then I'm gonna need, we're gonna need, please Todd, no. 2 on the back ones at least. So these for these 2. Something to space the right and left rail to be far enough away. And then these probably just need a small washer on them so that they can get on both sides of that more narrow slot. The more narrow slot's good. It actually means that our bolt's going to bump up against something. Those will probably go on pretty easy too. It's these rear ones that I'm worried about, but we need spacers. So I think I have a nylon spacer kit over here. Let me put the drill on the mill. Drill on mill. Drill on mill. Okay, and then I got to go all the way across the shop and see what my spacer situation is. The spacer situation is crazy. Can't believe he won whatever the Gaming Awards Streamer Award was. I guess he's probably got the most recognizable name there. Who doesn't know who Critical is? 200 piece. Oh, those are rubber grommets. Nope. I bought a bunch of rubber grommets since I was working on my car, and I didn't have a rubber grommet. And I was like, why do I not have a set of these? What's wrong with me? Oh, that's where my channel locks are. I've been looking for those. These need to go in a different area. Put them here. I know, you guys can't see anything. Let me put on the other camera, so you don't see me walk. Hey, what's up, Wonky Robot? That would be this one. Okay, now you can actually see me, like, sorting through my stuff over here. I should have spacers, though. I remember seeing a kit. I just don't know which bin of stuff it ended up with. Because we need to just space out a little bit for that metal. Otherwise, that bar is not going to sit at all. I'm probably going to be streaming tomorrow. You know what? I can just use a nut as a spacer, can't I? No, that's not really going to work, because then you've got the bolt head, a nut, and then another nut. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Need an actual spacer on the thing. Not a slip ring. Not a rubber grommet, no. It must be over and under the desk. All my little spacer kit. Oh, this has been very annoying. Very, very annoying. And I keep seeing rib nuts on the ground. I'm going to be finding these things for a while, aren't I? Oh boy, I had the whole kit fall off the table. All right, so down in here, I think I have a set of spacers. Here. No, these are spacers. Oh, and there's rib nuts underneath it. Rib nuts underneath, rib nuts above, rib nuts to the side of it. Nothing but rib nuts, man. That's what we got. Now think about this. I need something that makes up for that little distance there, because it's not like I'm not gonna like cut a section out of the thing. I mean, I guess I could get an end mill and do that. I could just cut a little section out for that piece. Oh, but it would hurt the integrity of my beams. Be right there, here, here to here. Just cut it out. I can't. I don't think it's. Yeah, it looks like it's spot welded on. And it's not on the other side. It's only on this side. It's special for the driver's side. So like, I could tighten this down, but then it would be like a semicircle. Riveting content. Boo! Hiss! Boo! Or if I could find a material that's that thick, I could cut a hole through it and have just a block of it on either side. What is in here? Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, like Just looking through scrap. It's all thick. I think it's all too thick. I think it's a little thicker than this stuff. No. Don't fall over. Oh boy. Things that are perched up against other things. A little disorganized, if you guys haven't noticed. Yeah, the linear servo is like falling over stuff. Okay, let's see. Like that. Yeah, see, that's much thicker than the actual metal piece. That's why I'm thinking I could find like just like a spacer that can go in there instead of having to make like a whole plate. That's just not going to do it. I gotta think about this. Where did my spacer kit go? Drilling was already super hard. How difficult will cutting be? Well, not that bad. It's not that bad. I just don't know where my kit of spacers went. I could probably throw just a little nylon spacer on there. That'll probably crush. It'll probably get destroyed. Because, I mean, that would be 4 points of contact instead of... It would be better if it was like a big plate instead of like a round sort of spacery guy. What about the big hardware bin? Hold on, let's get out the rare big hardware bin that I have. Maybe that'll have some giant washer or something like that in there. Let's see here. Big hardware bin. There it is. Just perch that right there. Put my stuff back away so it doesn't occupy more space that I precious space that I need, that I don't have. Oh my God. How did this happen? How did I accumulate this much crap? All this garbage. What about, I don't think I can make 4 out of the bracket that, for the airbag? How thick is that? That is the right thickness. But I don't think I can cut 4 things off of it. Like that would be 1. Maybe cut around this and make that another one. Those don't really do it. Here, come on over here. Come on over yonder. See if we can find anything useful. Oh yeah, some of these will work. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me just find 4 of these. A common exasperated question that most people will ask themselves in their shop. How did I get all this crap? How did this stuff make its way in here? Why do I have 3 different washers that are... Oh, you guys moved. You guys got moved. There we go. Should put some Loctite on that. Okay. 3 different washers. These are off limits. These are for the drawbar of the milling machine. These are spring washers because they move a very small distance and they've got a lot of force that makes them want to sort of dome up in the way that they are. Those are off limits. How big is that? That's the right size. I can find 4 of these where we'll be gold. Now the question with the big hardware box is, can I find 4 of these? The answer might surprise you. It's no. The answer is no. it's just always no in this box. In this godforsaken shit box of hardware. Different washer. I don't want to use these lock washers. That would be silly. Sort of the same, but also, yeah, that's the same. Okay, that's 2. We've got 2 more to go. That one is, oh, that is the same. Okay, I always think it's too big. All right, our chances have gone way up of me finding 4 of the right hardware. What kills me, though, is that the thing will still be suspended on 4 points. I guess 5, because that little plate will be one of the points that it suspends on. The answer is always 3. There is some logic to that, yes. Dun dun dun. These would be good to use, because then they would cover more area. This is actual hardware from the Mercedes steering column, which I should have kept intact, because then I could have used that in this setup. I could have had the motor like down below and had the steering column coming up so that you could adjust it. It was an adjustable steering column for a Mercedes. They're still pretty cheap. They aren't as cheap as they used to be from when I got it. When I got it, it was like 20 bucks, right? And it had just the right splines to fit into the steering wheel and everything. That would be really funny if I could find another one of those and use it in this setup so that we have an adjustable steering wheel. Steering wheel is going to be fixed in position. That's just how it has to be. Keep finding that one. You're right, it is 3, isn't it? Always 3 there are. Okay, here's 4. Okay, 4 big meaty washers that will make up for the height of that piece of metal that intrudes into my beautiful smooth rail. It also, I think, has the seat's part number on it and everything. It's where some of the plastic mounts that covers the seat so that your fragile consumers don't actually see any of the hardware of your seat, because they'll go into a panicked state if they do see anything. Is that exposed hardware? Oh my God! And you know, people die. It's pretty bad. It's good that the car companies protect us from these things. It's always in the last place you look. This is awkward. Do this while looking good on camera. How's this going to work? See, it's like I can't get my full finger in there to pinch it. Can I get a... Okay, you can do this. Only got to do it once. This is an argument for seat posts that are... Yeah, see, I can't get the angle on it. This is where the M8s were a lot easier. Getting that initial... Mother of 3 sees naked hardware, dramatically faints. I got the vapors. I mean, I guess a traditional hex key would probably work pretty well in this. Tell me I got it started. Did I get it started? Ooh, magic hands. Magic man. Okay, let's get... See, until I get the lateral motors working, I can't get in here with a hex key. That's not making it spin, is it? There's not a lot of light today, sorry. Camera should probably have its own light. I'm gonna get you to spin. Can't do that trick that construction workers do where they wrap cloth around it and they pull. And I can't get this thing to move independently because it's a worm gear drive. So it's kind of stuck in its position. Ow, there's a metal chip in my palm. I think I have to do this the hard way. And I can't, I can't just stick power into this thing and move it back and forth because the motor is just gone. It's just not here. The motor's gone. It's one of the things that's coming in the mail. Yeah, I think this might have to wait until we get the seat in, or the motor in the mail. This might have to wait. Let's do the front ones. I can maybe get this one over here started. All right, so that goes like this. This one I can actually get to. Ah, come on. Come on now. Yeah, that one fits. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. As long as it starts. I can feel it. It's starting. I don't know. That one's going to be a little tight. All right, let's try doing it this way. Using the wrench to extend me out here. Get a good feel for it from afar. That is cross-threaded to all hell. Hold on. Yeah, it's the length is a little short. I'm just gonna cross-thread it. Just send it, cross-thread it, ruin it. It'll never come out the same. I'll have to put a new rivet there. There's a lot of tension between the pin and this bolt. I'm forcing it. It's pretty good though. Okay, the rear one is just not going to go on right now. Just because I can't get the wrench in there, and I really need the wrench to contort into that space. Yeah, that one's not going on. Let's see if I can just get it to start maybe. Oh wow, it's like way over to the side. I don't know. That one's not aligned at all. Did this one go on upside down? I don't think I messed up the right side up upside down. This one is just way over to the right. Did I use the right hole? Yeah, I did. I don't know how this one ended up so far over to the side because it's definitely in the wrong place. So I don't have any opening lining up beneath it. Yeah, there's no light coming from underneath. Okay, so that one needs to be rethunk. Probably redo that one at some point. Maybe I can use the scribe to open it up. Not a huge success today, huh? I guess I can put this thing down on the floor, though, without scratching it, which was the original goal, and these will just have to distort a little bit. Oh, I need to get the front one in. Let's get the front one in, because that'll hold that up. Darn. This always happens. This is just the way of things around here. Is I'll try something ambitious and then get it mostly done. And then it all blows up in my face. Try to get that one started at least. It's going to pull tight against the pin. I guess another strategy would be to widen the pinhole. The pinholes are pretty exact, but if I open them up a little bit, this rail can move forwards just a little bit. Is it actually going on smooth? Feels kind of like it is. That one actually went on fine. It's the other one that was weird. Okay, there. So that's a little stronger. There's no washer under this one, but I can't hold it up unless I can get to the riv nut, and the riv nut is way too far to the side, so. Mostly done is further than I get most days. The best way, I think, to do this would have been to drill down from the hole. I don't know if I'd be able to hold it there, though. Okay, let's flip this thing on its head, and then I can sit on it. Huzzah! And get my mic cable out of the way. I said out of the way! This way over there, this way over here. I can grab this, flip it, place it on the ground. Get the stool out of the way. Man, there's a lot of space around here that I wasn't able to access before. I wonder why that was. I don't think this is a sports seat. This doesn't really strike me as a sports seat. Oh yeah, so the rails fit. Whoa! What the? They fit perfectly. What the hell? This is a temporary permanent solution now. That's what? What? I did not measure that. That was not measured. That was immeasurable. Immeasured. Not measured. I didn't measure that. What the that worked perfectly. That never happens. That's insane. Try to give you guys a good angle. Sorry, moving around a lot. Okay, so now this is a little low to the ground, but this could, oh, it's wobbly, of course. Of course it's wobbly. It's probably because I didn't put that one washer in, but this should feels pretty good. Feels like a car seat. Oh, that's nice. So it's got, yeah, got all the bolsters and everything. And it's cupping the back a little bit, but it feels like sitting in a car, which is what I was going for. And then it probably needs to move back a little bit, which it's not really this isn't gonna move around freely on the ground, but what I can do is set it up a little further back so that I can get the pedal distance correct. These are my shop Crocs. They're not quite Crocs, they're just something I found on Amazon, and they're what I use when I'm working down here because socks aren't it, man. Socks don't quite do what I need to do in here with all the chips that are everywhere. You can see that we threw quite a bit of chipping today. Let's see if I can move back a little. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's about the distance that I need things to be. A little bit shorter than this. But right now the seat is all the way forward. So when we get the lateral motors in, I'll be able to scooch stuff around and maybe we can figure out how to attach the pedals to the base, because that'll be the beginnings of it all. And then maybe I want 2040 to come back here until it attaches to this base so that I have a little bit more. I mean, the heel toe is fine with this. Oh, and I gotta not press this. Ooh, gotta be careful about that. There's nothing supporting the gas pedal right now because this thing is on the floor. But then the steering wheel will have to come up and over all of that and be approximately where I like my steering wheel, which I like to be pushed up against it pretty much. Steel toe Crocs. Yeah, that's what these are. Could you, steel toe Crocs, would that have any advantage? Would that be, because you're talking about rubber shoes, so they might as well just be a foot, right? They're easy enough for anything to cut through. Leather has a little bit of pushback, so if you're wearing a normal shoe with a steel toe, maybe. Or don't they not use steel anymore because it pinches the toe? You want like ceramic toes? Anyway, but if you've got a Croc, then you've got cheap rubber that's just going to explode as soon as something falls on it. I don't know. I will have to rethink how the pedals are being held up. That needs a rethink. And I think once I get the wheel, have something go down like that. I don't know, man. I don't want this thing to be huge. That's the only problem with it. You know, I want to have the flight controls that are at a decent level. So probably like here and here. I need something that my legs can hit up against. My back is super happy with this chair. This is like super nice for my back. I don't need this to hit precisely, you know, the whiplash arrestor. It's motorized too in this chair. That's the ridiculous part. The head back is motorized. Very strange. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to figure out. We'll get there though. We'll get there though, and I've got a bunch of scrap parts that'll allow us to get there. All right, so I'm ending the stream, but I will be back tomorrow. I gotta get out of this thing too, which is super awkward. I need to raise this whole thing to SUV height. Maybe that's why those other, okay. Maybe that's why these other simulator setups have it like on this tall platform so you can kind of like climb into it easily. I gotta sit down on the floor in order to get into my sim. Sort of, yeah, we had decent success. I mean, the chair's still wobbly. But it's funny that they fit into each other. Oh no, they don't quite fit into each other. That's why it's wobbly. I see now. I see how it is. It's the seat heater that you have to subscribe for, and that's, well, if you have to ask, it's too much for you. All right, I didn't do the end card today, so we're just gonna end. Thank you for joining me for this. It's been kind of a weird Friday. We've been sort of feeling out the beginnings of a sim pit. The question is whether or not it is more worth it to just buy an extruded frame rail setup for like $400 that I can just put together and then drop the seat on, and then all my hardware fits on easily. But this is funnier and more fun, so I think I want to continue to do it this way. I'm gonna have to see about ordering rails. It seems like, is this an upside down car seat? It was. Now it's a right side up car seat. It will become an upside down car seat again soon. I just had to reconfigure it so that it would fit on my floor without scratching the, is that a ball print in thermals? That's my balls in thermals. Okay. I don't think Twitch needs to see that. Anyway, I'm going to be back tomorrow probably, unless something crazy happens, or if something not even crazy happens, I might not come back tomorrow. But I haven't been streaming a lot lately, so I need to be streaming more. And so the thought is that I will come back tomorrow if I have parts. So if I have parts, I will come back and we will work on this chair a little bit more tomorrow. Maybe we'll have more thermal prints of my appendages. In terms of like rating, I don't know. I don't think we need to rate anybody today. Let me just check real quick. See what's going on. Anybody? Ollie Oxen free. What do we have? Buck is on. Show more. All the way down to the bottom. Pendleton Ward is actually streaming right now, who's the creator of Adventure Time. You guys should go check out Pendleton Ward's stream. Davies is doing My Summer Car. Olivia's doing Peak. Sir Lar is doing some game I don't recognize, of course. John Beta is on if you want to listen to Drum and Bass. Destiny 2. Pragmata. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna stop. Oh, the greatest ever streamer is on. Moist Critical. Who didn't want to even receive his award. Okay, tomorrow, if I can make it. Otherwise, Tuesday, working on this stuff again. And I will see you then. Have a good one, everybody. Oh, I right-click on something and it's not the right thing. I need to actually click on the right thing over here, which